Have you ever done something really stupid, tedious, and time-consuming, taking dozens, if not hundreds of hours to do it, all to have it boiled down to just a few minutes? Well, I have. Hey, I'm Lax. I like playing Pokemon, making bad decisions, and making dumb videos. You may notice a recurring theme if you decide to stick around. The gentleman in the background is me, and this little guy is Sunkern. And, this video is all about Sunkern. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the world does this Pokemon deserve its own video? Well, it doesn't, and it's not even close. However, my extended torment surely just might. No, there's nothing exciting, intriguing, inspiring, or otherwise compelling about Sunkern. In fact, I think I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the most remarkable thing about this Pokemon is just how unremarkable it is. Pitted against all other Pokemon, which is 1,025 at the time of the making of this video, Sunkern comes in at second worst in terms of raw base stats, which is honestly kind of impressive, if not in the worst way. But hey, if Sunkern is the second worst, that means that there's at least one other Pokemon in the world that's weaker than it, right? Well, yes. Wishy-washy. It has the lowest base stat total of any Pokemon in any game. However, to call it worse than Sunkern is a little bit of a lie. You see, it also has a really cool ability that allows it to gain immense strength while losing a little bit of speed and makes it a really powerful force. It also gets some really sick Alolan and Galarian lore, calling it the Demon of the Sea, and saying things like Gyarados and Wailord flee from it. That sounds pretty cool, right? Yeah, Sunkern doesn't get any of that. It is true that Sunkern is slightly stronger than Wishy-Washy with a base stat total of 180, and it can evolve when exposed to a Sunstone. But, for all practicality, that's not going to happen. At least not for me. More on that at the end of the video. But, do you know what Sunkern does have going for it? Well, certainly not deep or intriguing lore. Having attempted all of this on Pokemon Violet, I am far too familiar with the Pokedex entry stating, it is very weak, and its only defense is to shake its leaves. And that's not new or updated lore either. Oh no, that is a callback taken word for word from Pokemon Crystal version, all the way back in Generation 2. That's right, Game Freak has been bullying Sunkern for over 25 years, with various Pokedexes calling it a weak little, Spearow-fearing, dew-drinking leaf shaker. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but only a little bit. No, Sunkern gets badass gems such as, knowing it's weak, it simply feeds until it evolves, and it lives by drinking only dewdrops. It said it eats nothing else. Game Freak also wants you to know very, very much that Spearow's dad can totally beat up Sunkern's dad, saying, if attacked by a Spearow, it will violently shake its leaves. And on another intriguing note, multiple Pokedex entries refer to Sunkern's falling out of the sky, specifically in the morning. This is not further explained in any of the online information or in any of the 12 games that reference this, so that's weird. My only guess is that the big bad bully Spearow is hurling these things down from the stratosphere as a show of dominance. And as a side note to a side note, if Sunkern subsists entirely on dewdrops from underneath plants, does that mean that we can expect Sunkern to do the dew? Oh, I'm sorry. So, anyway, what was the point of all this? The lackluster facts, the half-assed humor, well, believe it or not, this video wasn't started with the intention of making a video game essay about our favorite flower child. Nor was this supposed to be an outlet for my stand-up routine, those last 4 syllables being in quotation marks. So why? Why do this? Well, I originally started with a goal in 2023 to shiny hunt one of every Pokemon in Generation 9's Scarlet and Violet. And sometime after setting that goal, I decided to videograph the whole process. Through catching, hatching, or evolving, I'd record the best and worst bits. Sunkern was certainly one of those worst bits, and it would continue to stump me for many hours and many eggs. You see, there's only two real ways to get a shiny Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. You either find them in the wild, or you hatch them from an egg. That's pretty much it. And when given the chance, I always opted to find a Pokemon in the wild. It was somehow more soothing to my brain to just wander around and sightsee while trying to spot the difference being a shiny Pokemon. This option did not present itself very well when it came to Sunkern. It only spawns in flower patches and in certain areas, and with it being only grass type, it was impossible to find a good combination of area and other Pokemon to make hunting it exclusive or easy. So what was I to do? Cry? Absolutely. But also eggs. Over 2,000 of them. The base rate for hatching a shiny Pokemon is 1 in 4,096, but we've got a couple of things we can use to our advantage, the Shiny Charm and the Masuda method. With both of these, it brings it all the way down to 1 in 512. That's not looking too bad, right? Certainly a lot better than 1 in 4K. It was at this point that I realized that RNG can be a real bitch. Coincidentally, it was also at this point that I realized that I have someone in my life that makes decisions just as badly as I do, and I could not be more grateful. At exactly 2,000 eggs, she offered to assist me in this grind, and with a backlog of over 10 boxes still left to hatch, I graciously accepted. And in 22 eggs, she smugly told me it was done. 22. RNG can be a real bitch. I never got my own Sunkern. I could never hatch my own shiny. Nope, not until I ended up hatching through the backlog of eggs for B-roll for this video. Yeah, you heard that right. I have 2 of them, and am now the proud owner of 2 of what I believe may well be the rarest, or at the very least the most tedious shiny Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet to hunt. So, now what? Well, remember when I had something cooking earlier in the video? All of this exposition, all of this research, seeing all of the hate that Sunkern gets online, and now being a part of all that hate as well, got me thinking, what if I gave Sunkern a chance? Allow it to try and solo the entirety of Scarlet and Violet. So, that's what we're gonna do. Hey, I'm Lax. I like playing Pokemon and storytelling, and boy do I have a story to tell you. This is Pokemon Scarlet, the setting of this lengthy epic of the unepic variety. Pokemon Scarlet is a Generation 9 Pokemon game set in Paldea, an open-world continent. As it is open world, you're technically free to take on Paldea's many challenges in any order you so choose. Except not really, since there isn't any dynamic level scaling. A concept which you could technically do in Generation 1 to a lesser degree, but still. Anyways, Pokemon Scarlet is a game designed and built with the assumption that we, the player formerly known as Lax, would have and use a full team of 6 Pokemon, of varying types and vastly different movesets. We're not going to be doing any of those things. And although Pokemon games aren't exactly known for their difficulty, I seriously don't think I've ever struggled with a single Pokemon game, even at a young age. What we're going to attempt might just up the challenge level. But enough beating around the bush, this video is all about Sunkern, and a simple question. Can a duo Sunkern team solo, or rather dolo, Pokemon Scarlet? Yes, you heard that right, I am going to be using 2 of them, but trust me, that's not going to make things much easier. And it also allows for some pretty cool strategies that would otherwise go unused in a solo run. So, with all that being said, I guess let's line out some rules. Number 1, only use 2 Sunkern, unless asterisk. I'll mention these if and when the need arises. Number 2, see how far we can get without items in battle. I'm not a fool. I know how frail these little guys are, but I'll be doing my best to not rely on this at all. And that's about it for the rules. We will be attempting to get through all 3 quest lines as well as the endgame stuff, but I am getting way ahead of myself. I don't even have the right game booted up, and that's because I need to actually get these Sunkern into my game first. With the help of my partner in crime, I am able to trade these guys over after a lengthy exposition dump. I mean, seriously, I don't think I ever realized how much dialogue coded the first hour of the game. It felt like homework just getting through it so that I could actually start the challenge. Now, the eagle-eyed among you may notice that both of these Sunkern are shiny. These are the problem children that I spent hundreds of hours hatching for my first video. My very first video, a video that only took 8 minutes to showcase. And that is another reason why this isn't a true solo. It only felt right to use both after spending so much time trying to acquire them. Something sunk cost fallacy. Cognitive biases aside, it is time to start this run properly. We start by picking up a few loose items on the way to our first encounter, Azurill. We struggle through a few more fights with another Azurill, a Magikarp, a Bonsly, and a Trainer's Roly-Coly, getting to level 10 and learning Mega Drain in the process. After this stint of leveling, which, even though it was only like 5 fights, took almost 20 minutes, we head to Mesagoza's South Gate. And we're greeted by Nemona. She'll be playing the part of our quirky, hyperfixated battle buddy. After a brief hello and some exposition, she suggests a battle onto us. And I gotta say, at level 10, I did not envision any issues. We outlevel her by 2, and we resist her grass attacks. She starts out with Sprigatito at level 8, a full 2 levels below both of my Sunkern. I start out by setting up a growth, and seeing Sprigatito open with Scratch and then a Tail Whip, thought I might be in the clear here. Until that second Scratch landed, and it did a lot more damage. With 2 growths under my belt, going on the offensive with Absorb seemed like the play, but that only did like 4 HP of damage. After getting flinched by Bite, it's time to swap. Sunkern 2 comes out, and he's got Mega Drain. With twice the power of Absorb, but none of the growths, it's still my best shot. You can see me hover over the battle button here, just mentally weighing my options. I continue my onslaught of Mega Drains, gaining token amounts of HP back, all the while being whittled down by Sprigatito. Landing a Leafage and following up with a Bite, it's unfortunately all over. Sunkern 1 has only 3 health left and has lost all stat boost from swapping out. He takes a final bite, and that's all she wrote. Fortunately, this was more of an exhibition match. We don't actually need to win here, which is good, because Nemona still had 1 in reserve. After that turd-flavored travesty wrapped up and presented as if it were a Pokemon battle, we head into Mesagoza proper and meet a new character, as well as this game's bad guy team, Team Star. After expositionally waxing philosophically, we are eventually tossed into a Pokemon battle with the first grunt, uniquely named Grunt A. Grunt A uses Shroodle. Shroodle is a new Pokemon for this generation, a poison normal type. After swinging a single Mega Drain, Tackle is apparently going to do more damage due to Shroodle's poison typing. We swing a few more tackles and heal with our Oran Berry and finish off Shroodle with 1 final tackle. Hey, we actually want to fight! That, a little bit more exposition happens because, can't get enough of them words, in which Grunt B looks terrified, Nemona, Battle Buddy appears and offers us a rock. Unlocking Terastallization, this game's big battle gimmick. It does a few things, but what matters now is that it changes our STAB attacks to 200% from 150. Now, I know that's a lot of words, but it's Pokemon, so it's not overly complicated. STAB stands for same type attack bonus. Basically, if you have a grass type Pokemon, they use a grass type move, they get a 50% boost to its power. Terastallization adds an additional 50% to that 150%, making it 200% total, which is why my Mega Drain 2-shot this Yungoos. We're going to use this a lot. And just like that, Grunt B is no more. A and B run off to continue doing problematic things. We continue up the stairs to our school and meet up with Director Clavel, and are then show and told by Professor Jacques, I think. That's the problem with reading things from a script, is that I may mispronounce things from time to time. I don't have any sound on. By the way, I think this cutscene took approximately 150% of Game Freak's budget. We meet up with Arven and learn of his quest, The Path of Legends, get hijacked in the cafeteria by a nerd, and bump into Nemona again to learn of her quest, Victory Road. After leaving the school, we meet up with Nemona and Arven in the courtyard and are once again contacted by Techno Wizard / Spam Risk about my Amazon password being deleted, or whatever, and Starfall Street. At this point, the game opens up in earnest. You can go anywhere and technically do almost anything. I decide to start fresh with part of Arven's quest, Cloth, the Stony Cliff Titan. Cloth is a new Pokemon in Generation 9 and has been given the Titan treatment. That doesn't change the fact that he's only Rock type, and we've got a massive type advantage. Starting out this battle for the first time at level 12, we Terrastalize out of the gate and ready a Mega Drain. Cloth counters with Block. Yeah, I wasn't going to be going anywhere, buddy. Mega Drain, being super effective, looks to be doing about a third, and... oh, that's bad. Cloth One-Punch Man's my first Sunkern, and we send out Sunkern number 2. We ready a Mega Drain, and Cloth uses Block on this one as well. I mean, I really just consider this a free turn since I don't plan on running. I swing a Mega Drain, and it's doing not enough, but Sunkern 2 does survive an attack and can even follow up with one more Mega Drain. Tragically, but overall thematically fitting, Sunkern loses its first major battle. Cloth uses Rock Smash, ending the encounter. I think victory for Cloth would be assured at a slightly higher level, but it's a little early to grind too crazily, and I've got other paths I'd like to try and follow. Speaking of which, let's check out the town of Artisan. And of course, like a bloodhound, Nimona can smell a looming battle from a mile away. She introduces us to the gym test mechanic. Gym tests vary for each gym and are all small tasks, subquests, or battles, or a mixture of all three, before the big bad boss battle. Giving us some super potions, she leaves saying, "Smell you later, loser." Ouch, my feelings. We walk over and speak to the lady behind the counter, and she says what I said about the gym test, basically, kinda. This gym test is Sunflora Hide and Seek. We need to find 10 Sunflora hidden around the town of Artisan. We find our first Sunflora staring longingly at a vending machine. We misclick Assert Dominance by browsing the menu and choosing to purchase nothing, and securing our first Sunflora. We then find number 2, battle number 3, find number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally 10. After finding all 10, we have completed our very first gym test. And I am sure after a gym test that easy, the gym leader for this town must be a cakewalk. Well, Vine Daddy Brassius likes vines and whips and vine whips, and long walks on a windmill. He's the gym leader of Artisan, and if you couldn't tell by the context clues, his hair, clothes, name, quote-unquote accessories, he's the grass-typiest grass-type user of Scarlet and Violet. He starts off with Petalil, and Sunkern resists all of Petalil's moves, which I think gave me a false sense of security. This fight did not go well, and it was due in part to my poor calculations. You see, I overshot the amount of growths that I could reasonably set up without getting knocked out, and Petalil practiced the patented, let's press the A button 4 times and see what happens, and what happens is I lose my Terrastalization early. I send out Sunkern number 2 and use Tackle, but I am quickly realizing that making any real headway against Petalil will be difficult without being Terrid or Growth or both. I managed to set up a couple of growths, but unfortunately, it's too little too late. We can't out-heal Petalil's Mega Drains with our own. I'm able to delay the inevitable for a few more turns with my own attacks, Mega Drain, and subsequently Tackle, but it's just that, a delay. We lose our first try against Brassius at level 15. Alrighty then, so what do we do now? Well, like I knew we'd always have to, we level up. Fortunately, we are positioned perfectly to take down a couple of Cloths, both geographically and type-wise. We can Terrastalize once per Pokemon Center visit, and that usually nets us the victory with Mega Drain. Now, for round 2 Brassius, we're level 18. Like always, Brasshole starts with Petalil and Mr. Good Choices with Sunkern. You can actually see the equations flying past my head as I hover over the battle button. We Terrastalize immediately and use Growth. I take a Mega Drain, use one more Growth, and take another Mega Drain, which I learned is its only damage-dealing move. At this point, I play around with a few options, my newly acquired Razor Leaf for a sweet critical hit, and a couple of tackles. I think using Mega Drain here was the play, as it would also heal me some, but a win is a win. And when we do, at least against Petalil, Brassive Ego then sends out Smoliv, my channel's icon, except my guy has a beanie on. Sunkern uses Mega Drain and outspeeds, and Smoliv uses Tackle. Sunkern then uses Mega Drain and outspeeds. Smoliv uses Tackle. Sunkern then uses Mega Drain and outspeeds, and Smoliv uses Die. and it's pretty effective. We decide not to learn Worry Seed in the middle of battle, opting to look into it later since you can relearn moves on the fly in this game. Thank you, Game Freak. And out comes Brassica Prime's ace, Sudowoodo. He makes a joke that's been cooking since November 21st, 1999, and terastallizes his rock type into the grass type to match his team. We start with a Mega Drain to heal a little bit back and deal about 1/8 damage. We outspeed, that's great, but Sudowoodo has Trailblaze, which will raise its speed on use. And Sunkern is so slow that one Trailblaze is enough to outspeed both. Our first Sunkern goes down along with our terastallization, and Sunkern 2 comes out. We swing a Razor Leaf hoping for a crit, and we don't get it. Not that it would have changed much. Sudowoodo swings one final rock throw, and we're met with defeat. But hey, big progress here. At this point, I think it's high time we went back to Cloth, the Titan, not the regular ones. When last we lost, we were level 12. We're now significantly stronger at level 20, and it shows. We terastallize immediately, pulling no punches because we got a video to make and challenges to complete. Mega Drain deals significant damage, well over half, and he lands a Rock Smash. His Anger Shell fires off, but he only lands a slightly stronger Rock Smash on his following turn, while my final Mega Drain ends Phase 1. Cloth panics, runs away, and jumps off a cliff. We give chase to discover him doing whatever this is, and Arven shows up, hey Arven, to tell us it's definitely not drugs. Cloth goes Super Saiyan, and Phase 2 begins. Arven's gonna join us for this fight, and it becomes a double battle, but just for our side. Arven sends out a Shelter to distract Cloth, while I terastallize and badger it with Mega Drain. Cloth uses Block, and Shelter outspeeds with Life Dew. Shelter outspeeds, it has no legs. Life Dew will moderately heal all allies to make this encounter just a little bit safer. I'll continue to use Mega Drains while Cloth will continue to target only Shelter, who has significantly higher base defense than we do. I use Mega Drain again, and man, I wish Overheal was a mechanic, and Shelter uses Life Dew. And with one final Mega Drain, 3 in total, the encounter is concluded. Arven and I stare at each other for a while, walk over to the apparently inviting mouth of the cave that the Not Drugs came from, and head on inside. Inside, we find the source of all things sweet, take it without a second thought, and complete our very first objective of many, hopefully. Stony Cliff Titan defeated. Shine, get. Oh, wait, wrong game. Anyways, with this, part 1 of 5 of the Path of Legends has been ticked off. Outside, we are given yet another unsolicited call, but this time by Arven's hot cave mom. She lets us know that every time Koraidon, our bike, eats a controlled sandwich substance, he unlocks a new ability. There's a great lesson in that for the kids, thanks Game Freak. And now on to Brassius. Our previous loss was at level 19. We're just a little bit stronger now, but we were also really close last time. So let's see how we hold up. We send out our now level 20 Sunkern, and of course Brassius sends out Petalil. We know Petalil only uses Mega Drain, so we can reasonably set up a few growths to strengthen our special attack. After that, we terastallize and start out with Mega Drain, and whoa! That did a lot of damage. Petalil down. Brassius sends out Smoliv, and we're gonna stick with the Sunkern we've been beefing up. Mega Drain does almost all of Smoliv's HP. I'm really liking the amount of growths we used. We use one more Mega Drain and knock out Smoliv, and we are almost full HP for Sudowoodo. Which, after the requisite exposition, which is totally necessary, we'll get to see. Of course, Brassius will terastallize Sudowoodo to the Grass type at his first opportunity. We'll use Mega Drain and outspeed and deal just under half. That's not bad at all. But Trailblaze is similarly dealing half health and now outspeeds. Thankfully, Rock Throw misses, but we don't. Now in the red zone, Sudowoodo swings another Rock Throw for massive damage. A crit would have ended us, but we land a crit, not that it matters at this point, and end Sudowoodo. With our battle concluded, Brassius has a small breakdown. Guess he didn't expect Sunkern to beat him. Yeah, me neither, buddy. And just like that, we earn our second victory screen and first gym badge. After some much-needed exposition, we're moving across the continent of Paldea to the intended second gem. And as if on cue, the expositionary queen herself, Nemona, swoops in. Nemona turns the thoughts valves on to full and languishes long-windedly about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, or whatever. I didn't read it. Can you blame me? She gives us some stuff, and we talk to the gentleman behind the counter about gym test number 2. This test is basically soccer meets olive-shaped beach ball and Ultimate Ninja Warrior. We gotta slap this thing through a maze into the goalpost at the far end. We're allowed to use Koraidon, meaning walls are optional and at most a suggestion. After we reach the goal, gym test passed. And with that, let's talk about Katie. Katie is the intended second gym leader of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Her interests include gardening and baking bug muffins, and if you couldn't tell from that, she's the bug-type gym leader, and for Sunkern, that's really bad. You see, Sunkern, besides just being generally weak, has a few main type-related weaknesses, and Katie wields one of those. So this may be a hard-fought battle. Even at 7 levels lower, Nimble does massive damage with Struggle Bug, lowering Sunkern 1's special attack in the process, so setting up growth is a no-go. I guess now's a good time to say this. I go into these gym battles blind. The last time I've seen them was about 2 years ago on release, so I was not prepared for the havoc wreaking in the form of Struggle Bug. Sending out Sunkern number 2, we immediately terrestrialize and go for Razor Leaf. It's not a special attack, but we may land a crit, right? Nope, we miss. But Nimble doesn't miss though, and our second Razor Leaf doesn't miss either. Katie lands one more Struggle Bug, and we one more Razor Leaf, ending the encounter and not requiring a crit. But unfortunately, that was only Katie's first Pokemon. She sends out Tarantula, and we ready a Mega Drain. But because we're like -4 special attack, it does nothing, and we succumb to Bug Bite. That's a shame, we were on a real roll there. Yeah. Very predictably, and I don't believe shocking to anyone who's watching, this was not a first try victory. Let's jump back in and see if a different strategy can give us any newer results. Immediately what you'll notice is that we widen the level gap further, now level 23. We don't bother with growth, opting to Mega Drain immediately to put down Nimble ASAP. Nimble uses Struggle Bug a couple of times, again lowering my special attack, and we finish it with a Tackle. We swap our undamaged Sunkern, which will also get rid of its stat changes. With our fresh and feisty Sunkern sent out, it's probably wise that we go ahead and terrestrialize. That's exactly what we do, and then we can start on with our onslaught of Mega Drains. We're dealing just shy of half health at our current level, not too bad. Bug Bite deals really heavy damage and eats my berry, uncool. And with one more Mega Drain, it's apparent that with a higher damage roll, or maybe even one more level, we should be able to reliably two-shot Tarantula, which would save us taking an extra hit. And that is a good bit of progress right there. Katie sends out the big bad bear and immediately makes it the bug type with terrestrialization. My first thought is, that's a Teddiursa. What bug type move could it possibly know? As I ready my Giga Drain, and we're doing about a quarter, we start to wail on it. Teddiursa uses Fury Cutter. Oh no. Oh, my Gen 2 flashbacks are coming back. Oh no, I went to therapy for that and everything. Like a band-aid on my psyche, out comes Sunkern 2. We use Giga Drain, taking Teddiursa to just over half, and healing ourselves to just over half. But it's just not enough to survive a fired-up Fury Cutter. All is not lost, however. We may have lost the battle, but I don't consider it a failure. We jump back in with significantly more knowledge on this next round. We're jumping back in at level 25. Giga Drain is dealing well over half, meaning only 2 are needed, even with special attack drops, to knock out Nimble. And we're starting out fully healed. We go ahead and swap out to our reserve Sunkern because healing those special attack drops is very appealing to me. We terrestrialize immediately and go for follow-up Giga Drains on Tarantula, and they're doing just shy of half. That's not bad, but a follow-up Giga Drain shows that it was a range, and a high roll knocks it out. Now it's time once more for her ace, Teddiursa. She of course terrestrializes immediately, and the body horror of normal falling host to bug is not lost on me. We ready and land our Giga Drain and are fully healed to tank Teddiursa's first attack, which of course is going to be Fury Cutter. It does significantly more than half, but I think you can see my strategy here. Just one turn too soon as I used Endeavor. If I had used Giga Drain, I think I could have done it in this battle, but reality is often disappointing. Sunkern 2 comes out and swings a Giga Drain, putting Bugbear in the danger zone, but Sunkern can't tank a 160 power Fury Cutter.
Now, once more with feeling, Katie lets loose her fearsome Nimble, and we, our valiant Sunkern.
Yeah, one more time. Well, we're still at level 25 because I have a strategy that I know can work if I don't pull a right old dum-dum. We Giga Drain, she Struggle Bugs, we Giga Drain. Same old song and dance. You, as well as I know, Nimble isn't why we're here. Nimble falls, and we're almost at full HP as we swap to our reserve Sunkern, allowing those nasty stat drops to be restored. Sunkern Omega comes out, and we immediately terrestrialize and go for a powered-up Giga... Razor Leaf? What is this? I'm sorry, guys. I thought you deserved to see a victory battle after seeing me fail so many attempts. We go for Razor Leaf, Katie goes for Bug Bite, and we land another Razor Leaf. A critical hit Bug Bite puts Sunkern in the red zone, but we manage to finish Tarantula with one more Razor Leaf. What could I possibly be thinking? Well, I guess we'll just play this one out and see how it goes. And now the bear, the bith, the bludgeoned, Katie sends out her non-bug bear buddy and begins bugifying immediately. We land Endeavor, matching Teddy Ursa's HP to our own, and are taken down by a Fury Cutter. But that's okay. We have our now fully stat-restored Sunkern Alpha coming out, and all it has to do is outspeed and hit with Giga Drain. We do exactly that, and Katie is no more. These are the types of strategies that I find myself really enjoying, and they just don't work in solo runs. But man, it took to level 25 to pull it off. I can see some hurdles down the road for sure. Anyways, Katie gives us badge number 3 and our second for Victory Road. And a TM we can't use. Neat. After that, we get to meet a familiar face. Did you think it was this guy? Me neither. There he goes. What a strange, handsome fellow. We head to Levincia, home of the 3rd gym, and hey, that's who I thought we'd be meeting. Battle buddy, local stalker turned badge blocker, Nimona wears many hats. She foists a battle upon us, and we take it outside. Giving us a glimpse of our soon-to-be gym prison, Nimona expositions all over the place. About right and wrong, life and death, good and evil, fries or tots, or whatever, and sends out a Rockruff, a rock type. Finally, something that doesn't wall Sunkern completely. Rockruff outspeeds and uses Rock Throw, doing about half. We do massive damage with Giga Drain healing to full. Rockruff shakes it side to side, raising evasiveness. But like water off a duck's back, thought-type behavior doesn't affect Sunkern. Giga Drain strikes true, putting that dog down. Palmy comes out, and it's an electric fighting Pokemon, something else that doesn't immediately destroy us. I'm liking this more and more. We take this time to terrestrialize the way no other Sunkern has before, and we swing one Giga Drain and then a second Giga Drain after surviving a minimal damage from a bite to skate past an otherwise unimpressive display shown to us by New Pikachu. So, I guess fun fact, Nimona chooses Sprigatito at the start of the game because I picked the bitey boy Fuecoco. She will always pick what is weak to your choice. If I wanted consistency, I could have easily picked Sprigatito, forcing her to choose the water-type Quaxley. But I pulled what the ancient Mayans refer to as a big dum-dum maneuver, so now we're stuck fighting Florigato, who just outsped us and critical hit with Bite. Lovely. We can heal a token amount back with Giga Drain, but this is real bad. You can actually see the cogwheels turning in my brain, and let me tell you, the mouse has fallen off and rolled away. We had so much momentum getting up to her ace, but get pretty walled here. Sunkern 2 comes out, but there's not a lot it can do. Both defensively and offensively, Sunkern is outmatched. And Florigato has the audacity to use Honed Claws to buff itself even more, as if it needed it. And with a beefed up bite, Sunkern is toast. This second fight with the Mona is lost, and very fortunately, it's another exhibition match and we don't actually need to win here. She gets us a set of full heals and some Gen Z words of encouragement to get good, kid. With that, she parts, and we head to Levincia City Gym to try our luck there. But before we can take on the gym leader, we've got another gym test to do, and I gotta say, these have become the most relaxing parts of this entire affair. Can't we just do minigames forever? No, we can't. But for now, we get to play a game of Where's Waldo, where Waldo wears the face of Director Clavel. You see, Iono is putting on a live stream because it appeals to me, the player. The premise of the stream is simple. We play a round of Where's Mr. Walksabout, and then we beat up one of her Twitch subs. Now, ordinarily I would show a couple of battles, especially if they were a part of a gym test, but honestly, they were pretty unremarkable and not all that fun to narrate. I mean, they are electric types, and we do resist. That being said, we still lost to Sunkern to the first gym trainer's Luxio. That was more due to Sunkern being, well, Sunkern than it was to any real challenge. After fighting Iono's mods twice and locating Granddad in the tractor supply thrice, we face off against Teonically Cronline Iono. This is a good time to reiterate, I don't really look up teams before I take on battles for the first time. I mean, it's not a Nuzlocke, so whatever, right? Stakes are low. Lose and learn. I have battled Iono before. I have spent more time in Pokemon Violet than any reasonable human being should. I do not remember ever struggling against Watrel. Maybe I never even saw it use a move, but it one-shots us with Pluck. This is rough. Sunkern 2 comes out and can tank a single Pluck, which is better than nothing, I suppose. But we lose because even though Watrell doesn't look like much, he's really fast. Okay, so we're going to have to level up. And whilst traveling around and leveling up and being a general nuisance, what do we find? Oh, a full odds 1 in 4096 shiny Mastiff. That's pretty neat. And there it goes. Okay, let's get back on track after that mischievous distraction. Nah, man, edit that out. Anyways, we may not need to level up if we use Endeavor strats. We set up Endeavor and tank the first pluck, dealing it right back. Sunkern 1 gets KO'd on the next attack, and that's fine. We kinda saw that coming a mile away. Sunkern 2 comes out, and we terrastalize immediately. And if we can tank just one pluck, we might have a game. Unfortunately for my time and yours, we cannot tank that pluck. Not at this level. We need to level up some more, or come up with a new strategy. Oh look, a shiny! And there I go. Okay, my absurd shiny luck aside, we do get actual leveling done before we try again. At this point, I mostly found it best to hang out in the Asada Desert and battle Phanpy and Silicobra. Stone Joiners were also a bit of a target, but they were much more of a threat, kinda like the Dawn fans that were wandering around chaperoning the Phanpy. This gets us to level 30. And as you may well notice, at level 30 the strategy is much the same. We're still using Endeavor, and we are able to get Watrell down a little lower with this strat, owing to our higher stats. Our second Sunkern can also tank a pluck now, at least once, allowing us to terrastalize and set up a Giga Drain, getting us past the Watrell. Man, that took a lot of effort, but we did it. It's all downhill from here on out. For us, that is. Luxio comes out and uses Intimidation, knocking down our attack, then bites, knocking down our everything else. That sucks a lot. However, that being said, it is progress, and to continue that progress, it's time we got back to training. We head back to the Asado Desert to continue that gauntlet of gains, and what do we find? You guessed it, we find another shiny. I'm kidding. We actually find 2 shinies. 2 full odds, same Pokemon, same screen shinies. And I cannot begin to calculate for you how uncommon that is. So after buying a few scratch-off tickets, I decided that at my current level, I am not getting anywhere with Iono. I decided to go elsewhere, and we get bowled over by Long John Santa Claus. In his haste to skip out on the check, Kofu leaves his wallet behind, and so begins our 4th gym test, a cross-country sprint, to return it to him and certainly not take $60 from it. In the world that has a literal flying taxi service and even Pokemon bicycles, our man Kofu barrels through open countryside and through the desert. Man's built like a fridge, but that won't stop him. In a weird way, it's kind of respectable. We meet up with Kofu in the market of something town, whose only relevance is this gym test, and we hand him his wallet back. Just kidding, before we can do a good deed that we're indeed doing for free as far as any third parties are concerned, Kofu's bodyguard? Stepson? Some guy named Hugo decides we'd be a lot cooler if he beat us up. Hugo does indeed beat up my first Sunkern with 2 bites with a flinch in the middle, wasting our terrastalization. Sunkern number 2 comes out and we use Bullet Seed, totally for the memes and not because my brain was playing elevator music at the time. And we eventually finish Floatzel off with the correct move, Giga Drain, healing a little bit of HP in the process. Clauncher comes out next and is a pretty slow Pokemon, but don't you worry, we're still slower and take a smackdown for our efforts. I select Giga Drain, bracing for another smackdown, and hoping for no crit. And oh, that's interesting, it's actually a speed time. And with that, Clauncher is defeated, Hugo gets sad, and we can finally give Kofu his wallet back. Wait, what is he looking at? Wait, is this what you came here for? Oh, it was under the belly. And now the real gym test begins. The other parts were just a prelude. Love that. We have to bid on the belly button fungus. We bid really high, which shocks the other participants into submission, allowing us to claim the under-tummy truffles. Meeting up with Kofu, he allows us to keep what we didn't spend at the auction plus $60 and departs with Hugo and his newly acquired portly fellow Portobellos. Okay, at this point we've yet to beat Iono, and mind you, it's been more than half a dozen attempts. But let's try our hand at Kofu. His Pokemon are higher level than Iono's, but we're not just resistant to his typing, we're super effective to it too. Kofu, like any other trainer who doesn't respect our time, starts his battle off with a cutscene full to the brim of exposition. While he steals the crowd, I'd like to reiterate a point I made earlier. I do not scout these battles first. I haven't seen this battle in almost 2 years, and my only frame of reference is that it will be a water type. And it is the water psychic type, Veluza. Very fast, but what can it do against a grass type? We terrastalize, and prepare to use our powered-up Giga Drain. And brace for pluck? No shot. Not only does it one-shot me with a flying-type move, but it's the same move that Ayano's Watchel has been bullying us with relentlessly. I pull out my second Sunkern, and it tanks a pluck, does get off a Giga Drain, but Veluza is just going to pluck again and destroy us. And guys, I don't really know what my options are right now. I guess we just level up? We try again just one level higher at level 36. Not much of a difference, but I wanted to try Endeavor before we ran off and over-leveled. We knock it down to the red zone, after which Sunkern 1 succumbs to another pluck. You can probably see the strategy here as this one we've used on Ayano. Sunkern 2 is up and we immediately terastalize. We tank one more pluck, which we should always do now unless Veluza gets an unlucky critical, and finish off Veluza with a Giga Drain. Then, in an eerily similar outcome, Kofu sends out Wugtrio, which outspeeds and KOs with a physical attack that has a chance to flinch. This time it's Headbutt instead of Bite though. We try a couple more times at level 36 and lose in very similar, if not the exact same ways. Now we're level 38. Endeavor strat still coming in hot, we knock it down to KO range, and friendship triggers? That's wild, but I'll take all the luck I can get. I use Endeavor a second time instead of Giga Drain. I wasn't expecting Sunkern to live, okay? And Focus Band triggers? Oh, okay, this might be the run. We Giga Drain and gain 1 HP back, alright, and we KO Veluza with 2 functioning Sunkern. I opt not to swap out my barely there Sunkern, choosing to capitalize on whatever anime protagonist juju he is currently huffing. Wugtrio uses Headbutt, and tragically, plot armor fails. But Sunkern number 2 is up, Terastallization has not been used, and most importantly, Sunkern 2 is starting at full HP. We Terastallize because of course we do. We select our beefed up Giga Drain and prepare for a Headbutt coming our way. We tank it, nearly KO Wugtrio with our Giga Drain, and nearly heal fully in the process. I can see the wheels turning as I select a move here. We've yet to get this far, and I decide on Giga Drain, and Quick Claw activates. We get to go first, and we heal to full for Kofu's last Pokemon. This is the best case scenario. A lot had to go right in this fight for us to get this far, and a lot that went right was dumb luck. And in Sunkern's case, I'm okay with that. Out comes Kofu's ace, Crabominable, a dual ice and fighting type with some serious attack power. Kofu terastallizes Crabominable to the water type, and Crabominable uses Slam. We manage to tank one and follow up with a Giga Drain and heal back some of that damage. But Crab Guy outspeeds us and slams us again. After all of that undeserved luck, we still lost. That sucks, but let's plow ahead. We still have some things on the back burner we have to get to. When last we faced off against Ayano, we were a significantly lower level, and strategies have changed. We're not endeavoring anymore. At now 15 levels higher, we can go on the offensive. We can one-hit with Double Edge. We go ahead and swap out Sunkern 1 for our Sunkern with full health as she brings out Luxio. Holding off on Terastallizing for now, we outspeed with a Quick Claw activation and then swing an Earth Power at Luxio, which almost knocks it out. We get flinched by Bite, allowing Luxio an extra attack, but we KO with Giga Drain. Bellibolt comes out and we hit it with Giga Drain. Metaphorically shocking, I know. This triggers Electromorphosis, boosting the power of the incoming spark. It doesn't do much damage, but it does paralyze. Actually shocking. Sunkern can't shake the full paralysis and takes a water gun for his valiancy. And with that, Sunkern 2 falls, but we're not out quite yet. Sunkern 1 comes back out, and it's now or never. We Terastallize. Sunkern Alpha, being the perfect being of power and agility that it is, outspeeds Bellabuddy and uses Giga Drain. Boosted Spark does damage but doesn't paralyze, and Bellibolt is knocked out to our second Giga Drain. With the fall of Bellibolt, it's time for Ayano's Big Bad. Her ace comes in the form of Miss Magius, a mono ghost type with base 105 special attack, defense, and speed, stats I can only dream of. She turns it into a light bulb and we get confused. That is a rough start. We do what we do best and use Giga Drain. It's not doing a lot owing to this thing's special defense, but it heals us enough to tank her Hex. We lay into it one more time with another Giga Drain and ooh, a critical hit. That is really good. Focus Band pops off, tanking a Hex at 1 HP because we have the power of God and anime on our side, and we finish this fight with one final Giga Drain. When I was first thinking about making this video, I did not envision Ayano, the electric type user, being the worst challenge in the run. But yeah, guys, it's all sunshine and sugar-free applesauce from this point on. Right. Yeah. It gets so much worse. But for the moment, we are victorious, and we are awarded the 4th task medal thing and our 3rd badge for the Victory Road subquest. Leaving what has been my mental prison now for the past 10 hours, we bump into a well-dressed woman who's tall, tan, and loves to ask personal questions. Her name, we learn, is Gita. Still riding the high from our fresh victory against Ayano, we jump back into Kofu. You know the routine, Heave-a-Loza, we Sunkern. This time we start with a seed bomb since this Sunkern has higher physical attack, and we land a crit. Nice, 1 down. We're hit and damaged a little bit by Sandstorm, and Kofu send out Hemwug Trio. And Hemwug Trio headbutt, knocking out Sunkern number 1. We send out our special attacking Sunkern, who's got a shiny new item, the Metronome, which makes consecutive hits with the same move more powerful. And we started blasting. Sending a beefed-up Giga Drain at Wug Trio, we one-shot, which we were already pretty close to doing, but that heals us to full. Sandstorm is still active due to our proximity to the desert, so we take some chip damage, whilst Kofu menaces us with Big Crab. Kofu will terrestrialize, turning Big Crab into Big Wet Crab, and we're off. We get outsped, but Big Crab misses with a slam. That's huge. We Giga Drain, which, thanks to Metronome, now is 20% stronger. Both Sunkern and Kerbigli take chip damage from the Sandstorm, and then we tank a slam like a champ, following up with a 40% stronger Giga Drain to finally win against Kofu, the Water-type user. And if you thought the battle with the Water-type wielding Kofu was bad, think again. No, I'm not being facetious, I really mean it. Think again. Because after Kofu hands us our victory badge and congratulates us on a well-deserved win, our game crashes. Yeah. Et tu, Game Freak? The autosave restoration point was immediately before we take on Kofu, so here we are again. And I realized we got lucky during the first win, so we're switching strategies and we're 2 levels higher at 41. We set up a grassy terrain which heals everyone on the field, but also buffs grass moves by 50%. Of course, our setup Sunkern is KO'd, but out comes Sunkern number 2 and we ready the Giga Drain onslaught. We one-shot the Veluza and Grassy Terrain heals us almost to full. Wug Trio comes out, and thanks to Metronome and Grassy Terrain, we one-shot the Wug Trio, fully healing the damage we take from Headbutt. And for the 4th and final time, Kofu casts Crab. But unlike the previous Crab cast and Prom Night, we're prepared for this Crab. He becomes the water-only Crabominable, and we one-shot with a super-powered Giga Drain. So after KOing Kofu for the 2nd time now, we managed to get our badge and even keep it for longer than 10 seconds by saving the game after the exposition. With our newly acquired 4th badge and fortified will to live, we get jumped by a friendly face, Nimona. She continues dutifully stalking us. I wonder if she saw us beat Kofu twice. After she flees, we head to Modali, home of gym test number 5. This test requires us to order a sandwich, the contents of which are hidden around Modali kept secret by 4 people. The order is not random and never changes, so I didn't need to do much, as I remembered, and totally didn't look it up, and it's definitely grilled rice balls, medium serving, extra crispy, fire blast style, with lemon. That's right, me. Good job. Gym test passed. After that, we're introduced to the true antagonist, Larry. Larry is all of us that grew up with Generation 1. He's older now, well-dressed, and totally over it. He doesn't feel the need to feign enthusiasm for a job that he quiet quits every single day. That job? Hitting Sunkern with a crowbar like it owes him money. And he must be knee-deep in overtime because he's wildly over quota for Sunkern punting this month. Larry starts out with Komala, who yawns, meaning Sunkern will fall asleep next turn. We use Grassy Terrain to set up, and he slams us, giving Sunkern the big sleep. Didn't even need the yawn. Time for Sunkern number 2, and we're going to go ahead and terrestrialize and capitalize on the Grassy Terrain with Giga Drain, and hopefully this will do a lot of damage. Nope, he outspeeds and slams. It did a lot of damage, though. So that's Larry, and I'm in trouble. At this point, it was very obvious that it's not going to happen at level 41, so let's pivot and go do some other tasks for now. We start by taking on a Team Star base and meet a "How do you do fellow kids" meme who tells us a bit of backstory about the ne'er-do-wells within the walls and their propensity for using Dark-type Pokemon. For each Timu Rocket base that you assault, you must first flush out the boss by auto-battling 30 Grunts Pokemon in 10 minutes. You also need to have at least 3 Pokemon in your party to do this, so I caught a level 4 Sunkern. Sue me. This part is honestly really boring, but it's technically like the gym test, so I kept it in. And even 20 levels above these dark types, we still have to use the vending machines to heal, which I did not know about because I'd never needed them until I used Sunkern. Isn't that just so wonderful? 42 minutes in and we're still learning things. Thanks, Sunkern. After that awe-inspiring performance, a wild mini-boss of the bad guys appears on his choice chariot, a pimp-my-ratted Reveroom. Meet Giacomo, an all-time dealer of darkness, and at level 41, we might for once have a fight go our way. The man whose name I don't think I butchered starts off with Poniard, a dual dark steel type, so that does resist, but really I don't think it'll matter too much. We actually outspeed something for the first time in life and set up a grassy terrain. We're hit by an aerial ace, which would have offended me if we were the appropriate level. I struggle on determining whether or not I want to use terrestrialization on this thing and ultimately decide, nah, it's not worth it. And I think it would have one hit if we did. It still does massive damage thanks to the terrain. Well over half, actually. We take another aerial ace and follow up with one more Giga Drain, ultimately defeating Poniard. Beetlejuice withdraws Poniard and sends out a 1973 Ford Pinto, I guess? I mean, Reveroom was already out, but anyways, now we're fighting a car? The battle starts with Sunkern getting intimidated, and I get it, Pintos scare me too. We're outsped, but at least this time it's by something that makes sense, and we take a Wicked Torque, which sounds metal AF. I use Seed Bomb that does solid damage even after the car honked at me. Speaking of sounding metal, we take a metal sound, lowering our SPDF significantly, and our Giga Drain deals a ton of damage, allowing us to heal from the Wicked Torque. Grassy Terrain does its thing, healing Sunkern and repairing the car for free. You're welcome. He snarls at us, leaving our special attack lowered. Wow, no manners. We follow with a Giga Drain, still dealing solid damage. The terrain finally dissipates, teaching us that nothing good ever lasts. We dodge a snarl, but it's the intention that hurts most, and land another Giga Drain, healing us slightly. At this point, it's only a matter of time, and wow, DJ Khaled lands another snarl, weakening us further. Absolutely no home training. After one more Giga Drain, just kidding, I counted 3 flat tires, not 4, one final hissy fit from the car, and better call a body shop as my final Giga Drain hits home. And wow, our first try win. And that's enough speed reading for me just now. G-Man gives us a strongly worded email in the form of a flashback. Oh god, no. And we get to see the heads of the other branches of Team Star. They wax philosophically in my expositional nightmare for what seems like an ungodly amount of time, and we are eventually awarded the Starfall badge for defeating Jock Mamino. Oh wait, that doesn't seem right. After a resounding victory against Team Star, I want some more wins. We head to the desert to take on the long ago Dawn fan, Great Tusk. He's mono ground type, so here's hoping things go smoothly. He rapid spins and almost murders us in one hit. We set up with grassy terrain, and that's it for Sunkern 1. Wow. And every time it uses rapid spin, his speed goes up. So, and I know this is wild to think about, we don't outspeed. Sunkern 2 comes out, and we terrestrialize, because it's the only thing that brings Sunkern any joy at all. And he gets knocked out by knockoff. Wow. I guess this won't be the win I'm looking for right now. What about Larry? Nope. Okay, so not the Earth Titan and not the normal badge. What can we do now? I guess we've got Earth Power, basically budget Earthquake. Let's give the Steel Titan a try. Meet Earthworm. As he looks at me, I look at him. He looks at me, and I look at him looking at me. And that damn smile. Earthworm flexes his little wibbly wobblies and battle commences. Sunkern with the Earth Power is out now, and now out due to a crit from Iron Tail. Well then, that's not good. But Sunkern 2 just dropped and doesn't immediately get its taters totted, only being hit by Wrap. We set up grassy terrain and take residual Wrap damage. Survive an incoming Iron Tail, it does about half without the crit. But with healing and the terrain, that's okay. Is what I would say if I were smart and used Giga Drain. But after admittedly solid damage from a not very effective Seed Bomb, at now well below half health thanks to chip damage from Wrap, it's time to terrestrialize. As we take an Iron Tail on the chin and survive by the skin of our teeth, as Pokemon Stadium's battle announcer would say, our souped-up Giga Drain does massive damage, healing us some, but too little, too late. Wigglin' Johnny beats us this time. Wigglin' Johnny goes back to his literal dirt nap, and I think we can definitely beat this guy with smarter play and less bad luck. But for now, let's continue sampling all of what Paldea has to offer, this time to the tune of another member of Team Star. We meet up once more with MC Granddad, who gives us the lowdown on those blasted kids that just won't stay off of his lawn. Pops then has a few hundred dozen choice words about how this generation wears their pants backwards and their hats too low. We're eventually joined by a child in a costume. Wait, what? That's a Pokemon? No, that's a guy. Alright, we're eventually joined by a Charcadet named Charlos. What? Did I write this? Charlos sprints away from Clive like we all wish we could, leaving us to our own devices and Cassiopeia. And just like with Giacomo and his Team Star base, we have to beat 30 Fire-type trainers in auto-battling in 10 minutes. We'll also need our third wheel Sunkern, so get in here, little buddy. Besides now having to heal every 2 or 3 battles, this played out exactly the same as the first Star base, so we're going to speed things up. After 3 minutes of microwaving my Sunkern, it's out of the oven and into the car? Does everybody get a car? How old are these kids? Meet Boots. She likes fire. Boots, aka Mila, begins the battle by screaming at the sky and sending out her Torkoal. Torkoal's ability Drought will set up a harsh sunlight. Drought is basically the move Sunny Day, but in ability form, and will cause all Fire-type moves to be 50% stronger until it dissipates. Ergo, Flame Wheel nearly one-hits even though we're 20 levels higher. We do manage to outspeed with Earth Power owing to the fact that Torkoal is one of the slowest Pokemon. Borderlands 2's Lilith uses this time to cast 2002 Pontiac Firebird. A niche spell for sure, but one with immediate wow factor. Using Overheat, she KOs Sunkern 1 but drops Revaroom's special attack by a lot. Sunkern 2 comes out and you can see me struggling to pick a move. He takes a fender to the face for my indecision, and oh, was it a crit? Yeah, I bet it was. I knock myself out with Double Edge because I didn't want to give Mila the satisfaction, and that's the battle. Sunkern number 3 can't do much, and even if it could, I can't really use it in this challenge. The base assault portions require 3 Pokemon, so I erroneously thought the leader fights would as well. We try Mila multiple times and eventually move on. We'll be back, just not at level 47. But we're running out of real estate here. We gotta start getting wins, and we gotta start soon. Well, hello there, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. How are you? Back at it again with Earthworm Jim. We were pretty close last time, and without succumbing to a lucky or unlucky crit, we might have won on the first try. We ready our discount Earthquake, and he eats it, literally, for lunch. Damn, Billy. With my strategy unceremoniously thrown out of the window, I use Protect for reasons, and then remember the amount of damage Giga Drain was doing and do that instead. Terastallization, where would I be without thee? My heart, my muse. It is important to realize that Earthworm's special defense is its lowest stat. Relax, it's not Sunkern low, but it is low enough to allow us to 2-shot after Terastallizing, even though it's not very effective. And with that, Phase 1 ends, allowing us to see extremely high-quality animations and editing. After we witness all the crimes he could commit in 10 seconds, our man knows it's time. Time for what? This. What's this? I'm not old enough to know, but I'm told it's expensive. Hey, Arvin. Controlled Substance McGee goes all Kaioken times 0.35, and thus Phase 2 begins. Less Cool Steelix starts off with an Iron Tail and hits everything but its target. We set up grassy terrain while Toadschool confuses Earthworm. What a Toadschool thing to do. You can't fire me, I don't work here. We absorb a headbutt like a punishment pro, and Toadschool lands a Grass Knot for major damage. We Giga Drain and heal up from headbutt, and do pretty solid damage ourselves. Although confused, Wormageddon lands another headbutt, red barring Toadschool and ignoring us. With one more Grass Knot followed by our Giga Drain, we actually won one. Arvin has one of his well-known and highly publicized laughing fits, no need to mention it, and we head inside to the Cave of Many Unknown Things, currently housing one very known thing in limited quantity. I'm told it's expensive. Arvin does an off-screen batch of brownie baking, and we're awarded with the Steel Titan Completion Badge. Dino Dogbite comes out and wolfs down our whole share of good times. This unlocks something deep within his psyche, which manifests as a new bike ability. He then continues to party foul, setting his sight on Arvin's. Arvin says don't. Bike listens, good bike. Arvin casts Sick Sad Old Dog. It is incredibly effective. Turns out Sick Sad Old Dog, SSOD for short, will maybe get better if we make a lot more brownies. And with Arvin's words and a now more important goal than making my bike faster, we set off to retry the Ground Titan. Run It Up Don Fan Phase 1 went great, but the footage was split down the middle and flipped 180 degrees, so go ahead and imagine how cool we were, including requisite laser noises. But be quick about it, we've got a show to do here. Alright, time's up. We terrestrialize immediately, Scovillain takes a brick break and counters with Scary Face, and eventually we get to use Giga Drain. Now faster Scovillain uses Razor Leaf, takes a brick break and faints, and eventually we get to use Giga Drain. We set up Protect for reasons unknown, allowing us to take no damage from Rapid Spin, a 50 power move. On the subsequent turn, we take full damage from Knockoff, a 65 power move, but we survive and send out one last Giga Drain and down the Dawn Fan. Is this the fabled winning streak? This feels like the fabled winning streak. Arvin escorts us down to his deep desert dispensary, where we rudely interrupt the Herba Mystica just doing its own thing. We take some, all of it, and we're gifted the Ground Titan Completionist Badge. Arvin begins preparing the stuff, and before any wise guys show up to ask questions about legality and pharmaceutical certifications, we feed our respective doggo. After eating his third mystical herb sandwich, SSOD regains the strength to playfully bark, as well as the behavioral reinforcement to eat things that don't belong to him. With now the third Titan taken down, we head to Titan number 4, the Titan of Flightin', Bombardier. Bombardier outspeeds using Rock Throw as Sunkern kindly decides to go second. I decide that Earth Power works better the third time you use it. Pretty sure I was distracted by a video or something. Turn 4, we go for a powered up Giga Drain with Terastallization and die to our hubris. This is that cool Dolo strategy I was talking about. Sunkern 2 comes out and we decide to dumb significantly less this time around and give him the old 1-2 Giga Drain Seed Bomb Deluxe. Really rolls off the tongue there. And lo, Phase 1 of the Titan 4 fight is over. Phase 2 starts the way every Phase 2 starts, with major terraforming, minor concussions, and Arvin. Hey Arvin. Bird gobbles up the goodies and goes all hat backwards. Let's do this. Arvin's choice for this match is his Knackley. Of course, we're going to use our very best this Sunkern we have. We kick things off by terastallizing and outspeeding something, anything, and set up a grassy terrain. Knackley decides now is a good time to get hit by rocks and to wax his own. We swing a Giga Drain for massive damage and Knackley takes a wing attack and yep, better shine these rocks again. Knackley now outspeeds us all at +4 speed, but it's just not enough. Once more for good measure. We'd Giga Drain one more time, ending the encounter. Thanks for everything, Knackley. After pressing the A button a few too many times, Arvin escorts us to the glowing green goodness, and we make a Slammin' Sammy. We're awarded with the Flying Titan Completion Badge. Everybody eats a sandwich, and both dogs get stronger in their own respective ways. Look, I can only commentate the same cutscene in so many different contexts. Let's just call it a victory and move on to Titan Fight number 5. Tatsugiri starts with, oh! Okay. Dondozo used Swallow, and we're off. This quote-unquote dragon fight just became a water fight. Easy mode activated. We terastallize, and Dondozo, like the Indiana Jones boulder rolling down a hill, outspeeds and uses Squish. It is marginally effective. Sunkern number 2, having just witnessed that, comes out and gives me the side-eye. We absorb a water pulse and get confused. Seed Bomb lands, doing about an 1/8. Aquatail hits, leaving us in the highway to the danger zone, and like Finals Week, confusion sets in, causing massive emotional damage. Okay, but what about Larry? Nope. I have tried Larry about a dozen times, and at level 57, his fight is still a struggle. To varying degrees of success, we've failed every single one. But you know who we haven't failed against at level 57? Mila. Mila starts out this well-rehearsed dumpster fire the only way she knows how, with Torkoal. Torkoal turns on the daytime, and we one-shot with Earth Power. Next up is Firecar, Revavroom. Firecar uses Screech instead of a Fire-type move, and we do over half. Nice. FC uses Blazing Torque, and there it is. We get one shot. Even at level 57, we're not surviving a Blazing Torque when our defense is that low. Sunkern 2 3D coming to a battlefield near you comes out, and we terastalize while readying a Seed Bomb. We get Screeched, lowering our defense significantly, and we hit with Seed Bomb, and dang, this was a close one. We take a Blazing Torque. Another Screech? Okay, what? Okay, I guess we win, because our Giga Drain will KO. Thanks, AI decision-making. I'll certainly take it. Maybe she felt sorry for us. Maybe it was time for her shift to be over. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know, and I don't care. I've said it before. We need all the help we can get. Mela flashback montage time, and then we're granted the Team Star Fire badge. After a stern talking to with Clive, or whatever, Charlos, the kid playing dress-up, or whatever, reunites with Mila, and we are witness to a heartwarming moment. Get it? Heartwarming? 'Cause fire? Yeah. Alright, time to switch gears again and head back to a gym. But it's not Larry. We've got our sights set on another town entirely. Montenevra. Ghost Town. Our gym test here is the most true-to-form gym test we've had so far. Just a series of double battles. Trainer 1, somebody's kid, shows up with a Grievard and Shuppet versus Sunkern and taller Sunkern, who tag-team the Grievard with Giga Drain. Less tall but still okay Sunkern takes a Shadow Ball and treats Shuppet the same way. Poorly. And that's it for somebody's kid. And after each match, our arena turns stage, or vice versa, gets cooler and more appealing to mods. Also of note, certain actions cause the crowd to cheer, giving one, some, or all stats a boost. Denim on Denim take the stage, and it's Misdreavus and Haunter versus Wingus and Sir Dingus Esquire, who again choose the better path in life, and double Giga Drain, which thanks to its Pain Split and Haunter's Hex damage is enough to KO Misdreavus. Following suit and doing nothing new, a double Giga Drain is all that's needed to KO Haunter, but not before we take some spicy Hex damage. Denim Squared recalls her defeated Haunter, and that's Battle 2 done. The arena gains a new spooky color scheme, and the guy that sells you Prime Herba Mystica behind the park bathroom wants these hands as well. This time, hands manifest in the form of Driftblim and Sableye versus Erythrador the Destroyer and Greg. Tried and true methodology of 2 Giga Drains being better than 1 Giga Drain, we swing at Sableye first, anticipating the walling that Driftblim sets up. With Sableye down and the crowd jazzed up, we set our sights on Driftblim, who stockpiles again, raising his special defense and regular defense. And wow, my Giga Drains do nothing. This is gonna take a while. Or not. Like some other famous blimp tragedy, Driftblim explodes, ending our last pre-leader gym test battle, and lighting the battle stage in earnest. With our gym test concluded and the stage now deemed worthy of some crowd show-out, we're introduced to Rhyme and make our way to the arena where Thesaurus the Kid tries to slap some lines down, but Weenie's out halfway through and runs just off-screen where his cool guy car is undoubtedly awaiting him. Rhyme asks us bars or battles, and I choose the wise answer as I don't have a cool guy car idling stage left. Must have left the keys to the Bentley with my other Sunkern. Rhyme starts out with Mimikyu and Banette versus Was the Best of Times and It. We're going to terastalize immediately, and I think we tag team Banette here. Mimikyu's going to outspeed everybody and use Slash, followed by Banette's Icy Wind. Okay, feeling pretty good about Giga Draining Banette out of the gate. Getting rid of something that can hit everybody with a super effective move, pretty good. Banette falls to a volley of Giga Drains, and out comes Houndstone. The crowd cheers for our terastalization, giving both of my Sunkerns an Omni boost, and I won't say no to that. We ready a second volley of Giga Drains, and Mimikyu hits with Slash, again outspeeding, doing some chip damage. Houndstone uses Phantom Force, vanishing and causing both Sunkern to get docked in pay. The crowd gives them a speed boost, but Mimikyu still outspeeds and doesn't miss with Slash. We use one Giga Drain to break Mimikyu's disguise and the second to deal heavy damage, but Houndstone attacks from the shadows, ending Sunkern 2's career. Now, this is a double battle. And we've only got one Sunkern left versus at least 2 Pokemon with full health. I guess technically a Mimikyu too, but we're going to knock it out pretty quickly. But what Rhyme doesn't know is that we're supercharged from the crowd, terastallized, and Sunkern's holding the metronome. And we've only used Giga Drain. Rhyme sends out Toxtricity, a poison electric type, and we ready our continued gauntlet of Giga Drains. She'll terastallize to the Ghost type, which is a nod to the Ghost from Pokemon Tower from Generation 1. Toxtricity outspeeds and lands a Haymaker, but then so do we, and we one-shot Toxtricity. Gaining most of that health back, we self-scope Toxtricity back to the afterlife, and we have only Houndstone to worry about. We easily survive its Phantom Force and use our boosted beyond belief Giga Drain to one-shot it as well. And with that, albeit with some added oomph from the audience, we can claim our first try victory against the gym leader. We're given our 5th gym badge for Victory Road and some Shadow Ball TMs. Thanks. With now 5 gym badges out of the way, we have to do it eventually. We'll have to face Larry. And I think it's coming up sooner rather than later. But for now, we've just stepped in something. Oh hey, Nemona. What? Battle? Okay. Nemona _rival _battle5.mkv starts out with a nice Bob Seger song, and we with Sunkern, who we will terastallize immediately and start Giga Draining.
Like an
Starts with Rock type Quick Attack, and we one-shot with Giga Drain. No surprises there. Lycan Rock is withdrawn, and we're on a roll. Out comes Gumi, and we ready our second Giga Drain, and it drinks it with Sap Sipper. I pivot to Earth Power, doing about half because the goopy purple thing isn't a poison type, why would it be? And after a second Earth Power, Gumi goes down as well. Next up, Nemona sends out Palmy, and I bet it doesn't sip sap. Nope, it outspeeds and sparks though, but we survive one shot and heal back well over half health. And it's about that time. The bane of my existence and the Larry of Nemona's Pokemon, Meowscarada comes calling and is immediately terastallized. It outspeeds and slashes us, and of course it gets a critical. We pee our pants just a little bit, and Giga Drain doing about a third. We heal enough that we might survive a non-crit attack. Oh. Flower Trick will always crit, and it bypasses accuracy checks to always hit. Okay, my bad. Sunkern 2, you're up. Sunkern 2 gets hit with a slash, which of course crits, and we swing a double edge, dealing solid damage. We take a Flower Trick and hit with double edge, KOing Meowscarada, but also ourselves. The game treats this as a loss, even though Meowscarada faints first. But screw that. You can take your dirty money, I beat you. A cutscene plays out in which it's implied heavily that I didn't beat her, and something become the champion, something retire at 42 and put all your money into timeshares. I don't know what was said, but I know what wasn't said. Good job. Nemona runs off on her way to interrupt us later on, and Gita's mysteriously, and the encounter ends. But what about Larry? Well, what about Larry? We're about 25 levels higher than him now, and still struggling. He starts with his Kamala as always, and we tank Slam pretty well now. We set up our grassy terrain, and Kamala uses Yawn. We get off a Giga Drain and heal some of that damage back. Just like with reverting stat changes, you can stop drowsiness from becoming sleep by swapping out Pokemon. We do just that and take another Yawn? Okay, did he know? Alright. Kamala outspeeds and we take another Yawn? Okay, he didn't know. We KO with Giga Drain. Dunsparce comes out, and with Sunkern being Sunkern, out back taking a nap that is, goes for Hyper Drill. Doing well over half, that's not good. We decide to roll the dice and wake up in time to outspeed and Giga Drain, healing enough to take a second Hyper Drill and finish it off by outspeeding with another Giga Drain. With that, it's time for Larry's Ace. I have yet to beat Larry's Ace Staraptor, even though it's 24 levels lower than us. Well over a dozen tries have pushed us to level 60, a higher level than I ever imagined, especially against Larry. But with the arena set and the audience here, let's see how it goes. Larry begins by terastallizing Staraptor to the normal type, the first Pokemon to already be the type that it is terastallizing into that we've seen. Landing an Aerial Ace, Larry's Larry knocks out Sunkern 2. Can you see how this could be a struggle? Sunkern OG comes out fully rested and no longer drowsy, and it's time. We terastallize. We've saved it until now, and now is the time. We tank an Aerial Ace and land a Giga Drain. It heals us enough to tank one more Aerial Ace, and Star After goes down with one final Giga Drain. I did it. We did it. The final boss, the antagonist, defeated. Unless? No. No, Larry is not the end of our journey. He is, however, an enormous milestone, and due to him being the 6th gym leader that we defeated, he is also indirectly the cause of our Sunkern growing much stronger. So, let's talk about hypertraining. Hypertraining boosts a Pokemon stats IVs to the maximum value, and is available in Scarlet and Violet as early as level 50. However, it costs bottle caps, 1 per stat boosted. Bottle caps are uncommon rewards from higher level Terra Raid battles, and have a few ways to be obtained in the DLCs. But at 6 gym badges, they become purchasable in-game from Delibird presents at 20,000 Pokédollars each. So, they're really expensive, but a little cash grinding later and our stats go from dirt to slightly cooler dirt. And that's it for this one. Larry isn't the end of our journey by a long shot, but he does mark a good close to this video. A video that is over an hour long at only 6 badges. Sunkern will return, stronger than ever, but for now, that's all I have. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, do all the things. I subsist off of your affirmation. And with that, have a great day, everybody. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, I'm Lex, and I bet you haven't thought about Sunkern in quite a while. Boy, do I wish I could say the same. This is part 2 of our Sunkern-only Dolo Challenge, a challenge geared towards using only Sunkern Squared and attempting to beat the entirety of Generation 9's Pokemon Scarlet. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description so you can check that out and see exactly what these Sunkern have been through thus far. Editor Lax here. He in fact did not remember to put a link in the description to part 1. I handled that, and I've also been left a note here to ask, please subscribe. I play RuneScape, and we like number when get big number. Thanks. Okay, there, I did it. Back to your regularly scheduled Pokemon programming. To summarize, when last we left off, we defeated the evil Lich King Larry and were awarded with our 6th gym badge, allowing us to easily purchase bottle caps, the currency used for min-maxing our Sunkern, and allowing us toll-free access to Easy Street. Right. Yeah, we'll just see about that. Let's start part 2 off right with a visit from Nemona? Oh man, she was hiding in the Gym 7 lobby. The Queen of Misery and not taking a hint herself, let's get this over with. I got badges to badge. With requisite blam pow battle me now out of the way, Nemona starts off our now long-running feud of 5-6 battles with Lycanroc, just a friendly neighborhood rock type. Sunkern cracks his knuckles and teaches this old man a lesson with terastallized Giga Drain. Just kidding, he takes a face full of pocket sand because he gets outsped, graciously allowing our first attack to miss and then takes larger rocks to the face before one-shotting Lycanroc with Giga Drain. 4 turns to 1-shot. We're so back, baby. Out comes Sliggoo, and we swing a double edge because of its ability Sap Sipper. It counters with Dragon Pulse and KOs after outspeeding us, winning a speed tie and the fight with Sunkern number 1. Sunkern number 2 comes out and has a non-grass move, totally because I am prepared. We Earth Power twice with a flail in the middle to defeat Sliggoo. Out next is the electric fighting type Palmot. We can start our Giga Drain train, and with the aid of the metronome, each attack is incrementally stronger. It only takes 2 to take out Palmot. Nemona's ace Meowscarada comes out, and historically has been a huge problem for us. She terastallizes and we trade Giga Drains with slashes, our Giga Drain getting stronger each time to where it only takes 3 attacks to finally seal our first quote-unquote true victory against Nemona. What an actually great way to start off, and I'm sure it will last. After doing something right for a change, we can take on Gym 7's test properly now. Remember Dendra? I bet you don't. School's for chumps. Our test is to show a mastery over our emotional spectrum, a very mature and thoughtful topic for Pokemon to tackle in the dumbest way possible, by mashing buttons and Pokemon battles. The Pokemon battles, I got down pat. The button mashing minigame, I still don't know if I did right or wrong. It let me continue, so I guess? Every button press just says, okay, speaking to Sunkern on a spiritual level. Proving our mastery over anger and a 10th prestige over sadness, Sunkern and I move to the second portion of round 1, beating up a child in the park. Emily starts out with Gotharita, and we pull the patented, skillful strategy of just Giga Drain it 3 times. getting stronger with each successive attack. Curlia is out next, but the 4th Giga Drain is enough stopping power to one-shot, and at 20 levels higher, it had better. Get out of here, Emily. This is my therapy. After a bout of disgusting battling, we get back to the good stuff, slow time events. I quiet quit initially, trying to see if my input amounts mattered at all, then realized I can do this and tank the game's FPS, something it has never needed my help with before. After giving anger with great enthusiasm, Dendra interrupts us to talk about how sweaty and out of shape we're getting. Shut up, man. And it's time for battle break number 2, because nothing shows emotional maturity like violence. This go around, it's Granddad catching these hands. Granddad Raphael sends out Grumpig, who outspeeds us with Power Gem. We use Giga Drain, and it outspeeds us with Power Gem. And we use Giga Drain, and it goes to sleep, healing itself and hurting our ego, with the implication. We use Giga Drain twice more while it can't fight back for the knockout. Metachem is out next, and our 4th chained Giga Drain almost one-shots, but not quite. We take a foot to the lower jaw and finish it with one more Giga Drain. Last but indeedly not least is Indeedee. It outspeeds and takes Sunkern 1 down with Psychic, breaking our Giga Drain chain. Sunkern 2 comes out and we 2-shot with the aid of a critical. But mark my words, Psychic will rear its ugly head again. With Granddad's defeat, our gym test comes to a rousing conclusion and we're allowed into the gym battle proper, where we are interrupting a business call? Pardon me, meet Tulip, the Psychic-type savant and 7th gym leader in our path to ultimate power. Her outfit creeps me out. Tulip's first Pokemon is the bubble-headed evolved form of Giraffarig, Farigiraf. Yes, really. Terastallizing immediately and not knowing what I am getting myself into, we dodge a Zen Headbutt and Giga Drain, doing just shy of half. We take 2 Zen Headbutts in a row due to an unlucky flinch and almost KO with Giga Drain. The same thing happens again due to another flinch, and we finish it off with Giga Drain. And if you thought that was too easy, remember what I said about a minute ago? Gardevoir comes out next and claps cheeks immediately with Psychic. Sunkern 2 makes his stage debut and to his credit survives the Psychic, sets up a light screen, and is even able to survive a second Psychic by the skin of its teeth. A Giga Drain here is just not enough to get me back into survival range, and we lose our first match against Tulip. A few other attempts were made to non-varying degrees of success, I'll let you guess why, and we decide to circle back after taking on Arven's last Titan fight, Hefty Lad and Sushi Roll. The duo of fish fiends kicks the mountain in and steals the stuff, partakes accordingly, and big fish eat little fish, and we're off. Even going Super Saiyan doesn't make Dondozo much of a threat. Plus, we've got our bestie Arven riding shotgun with Greedent, aka Bullet Sponge, Meat Shield, and soon-to-be Stew. Greedent holds many monikers. Dondozo, however, holds exactly 3 Giga Drains before succumbing to our might. And it is in fact so rare that we outpower anything, let us just bask in this moment for a while, shall we? Tatsugiri, however, is another story entirely. Our Terra Orb gets recharged for round 2 of fish fights on HBO Max. We use it, but Nemo deals heavy damage to everyone with muddy water as we defensively set up a grassy terrain. It then KOs Sunkern, terastallization and all, with an icy wind. With the end of a hero, and after Squirrel Lad gives Tatsugiri a cute little tail whip, Sunkern 2 comes out. Greedent is immediately eradicated with a Dragon Pulse, and we're left all alone. But don't worry, we're dealing about 1/10 of his HP per hit. We trade Giga Drains with various special attacks, however we realistically don't have the output needed to out-heal Tatsugiri's damage here. But with Light Screen, we hang on significantly longer than I thought we would. Good on you, Sunkern, but this ain't happening at level 63. So, when is it happening? Well, I'll be honest, it took a few attempts. We tried and failed many times between level 63 and now level 70. We've started utilizing Mints to alter our Sunkern's nature to yet again give it a further slight edge in situations. And in this fight, a Mint that lowers attack but raises special defense is ideal. We only attack with special moves, and Tatsugiri is a heavy special attacker, so our special defense is very important. Dondozo goes down pretty quick, no surprise there, but what about Tatsugiri? We terrestrialize and off we go. We immediately fall for a taunt, only allowing damaging moves to be used, thwarting our early light screen setup. We start with a Giga Drain and of course get outsped with Muddy Water, lowering our accuracy. We manage to land our Giga Drain and get hit by another Muddy Water, lowering our accuracy further. Doesn't bother Sunkern and those dead eyes of his, we land our second Giga Drain just fine. Taunt wears off and we finally set up our light screen just in time for Greedon to eat dirt and for us to dodge an incoming Muddy Water. We Giga Drain, tank a weakened Muddy Water, further knocking our accuracy down. This goes on for a while, Tatsugiri crippling our accuracy again and throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Sunkern, who, thanks to being the protagonist, never misses a single shot. I've said it before, and I will say it now and probably again. When Sunkern gets lucky, we take it. Every time. I think we had about a 40% chance to hit by the end there, or something crazy. Arvin and I make our way to the Spicy Cave, not a euphemism, and huff some good in sandwich form. Probably also not a euphemism. Completing Arvin's 5th and final Titan fight, gaining our bike the ability to climb, and my self-esteem the will to continue. Thanks, Arvin. Also, his dog's all better now. So now back to Tulip. The last time we got respectfully curb stomped, we were level 63. We are now older, wiser, and have developed a crippling debt from buying mints. I mean it, they're like 20,000 Pokédollars every time I want to swap natures to test a stat loadout. I think I spent at least 15% of my total playtime just grinding cash. Anyways, out first, as always, for Rigoraph. We actually outspeed and set up 2 Groats while eating 2 Zen Headbutts. A beefed-up Giga Drain one-shots and heals Sunkern back significantly. Gardevoir comes out and we outspeed again, which is massive, and set up Light Screen. Gardevoir lands a crit with Psychic, but fortunately we were behind a Light Screen. We terrestrialize and one-shot with Giga Drain, healing again. Espathra is out next, but lacks the raw special attack of its previous teammate and can do little to Sunkern, going down in one attack as well. Last but absolutely not least, Tulip's ace, Florges, is out and will be terrestrialized to the Psychic type. This thing was my downfall when and if I ever got past Gardevoir. Moonblast is a devastator and gets STAB. However, with our light screen up, our special defense meant, and a chained Giga Drain with Metronome, it just can't do enough. And we have defeated Gym 7's Tulip. However, this took all the way to level 70 before we could claim a victory. We're running out of headroom here, and the level cap only goes up to level 100. After that, there is no more leveling up for better stats. Hopefully, our next few challenges will be tackleable with less grinding. But before we can worry about Gym 8 and beyond, we're met with 2 new faces, here to meet an up-and-coming challenger who will someday take on the Pokemon League. Rika and the embodiment of pure violence, Poppy, 2 members of the Elite Four. After our impromptu meet and greet, it is in fact time to worry about Gym 8. The test? Not so much. Literally the most fun I have had in any gym test thus far. It brought back that demo disc for the GameCube where you could snowboard down a mountain. Just me? Am I old? Okay, thanks. Like my pending AARP registration, we pass with flying colors. And with our early dessert out of the way, it's time for the main course. And hopefully, Sunkern likes dirt, because he's gonna eat a lot of dirt. And without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Grusha, or Grusha. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, but I'm sure this won't be the most difficult thing about him. Grusha is the King of Cold, the Baron of Berg, the Fellow of Frigid. He's the Ice-type gym leader, man. And strap in, because this one's gonna get rough. Starting off the way any good Gym 8 leader should, Grusha is cool, confident, and monologue-y AF. After we chit-chat amongst the mountains, we start the battle proper. I send out Sunkern, and he sends out my worst nightmare, Frostmoth, an ice bug type. We start out the battle on a great foot by outspeeding Frostmoth and setting up a light screen. We dodge a blizzard thankfully and begin setting up with growth. Frostmoth uses Tailwind, meaning we no longer outspeed. We eat a blizzard, which would end us without light screen and growth again. We terrestrialize, dodge another blizzard, and Giga Drain, dealing solid damage but not nearly enough to squash this bug. We eat a second blizzard head-on and Sunkern 1 falls, but Tailwind peters out as Sunkern 2 comes out. Thankfully, Frostmoth didn't need it to outspeed our lesser Sunkern and we get one shot. Whew! Didn't want this to be too easy now, did we? And too easy it certainly was not. I lost a Frostmoth alone a dozen or more times. I lost count and didn't record every single one. But I guess I found a shiny Shroodle while theory crafting and grinding money, so that's neat. But just how uneasy was it? What's needed to get past Frostmoth? Well, Frostmoth has Blizzard and 5 power points of it at that. I need to dodge, protect, or otherwise tank that many before I can set up successfully. So let's see how we do. I think this was attempt number 20-something, and at some point during that, I wised up and started just reloading a save before speaking to Grusha, because each loss was costing me roughly 10,000 Pokédollars, and I'm not even gaining any XP to show for it. So anyways, as always, Grusha starts with Frostmoth, and we immediately light screen. Frostmoth uses Tailwind, now outspeeding and landing a Blizzard. Number 1, we set up grassy terrain to give us some passive healing while tanking. Healing a bit back, we protect against Blizzard number 2. Dodge another incoming Blizzard, 3 down, and send a Giga Drain to do some damage and heal a little bit back while we can. After Tailwind peters out, we can guess that Frostmoth will set it up again, so we take another free Giga Drain. Then we protect again, as we know Frostmoth prefers Blizzard when it can. It does, and we avoid it with Protect. 4 down. We attempt to set up a light screen, but Frostmoth outspeeds and lands a final Blizzard, KOing Sunkern 1, but using its last Blizzard. Sunkern 2 comes out, and we protect to verify the absence of Blizzard, and totally not because I can't count to 5, and we see that Frostmoth uses Bug Buzz, meaning we were right. Tailwind peters out, and we set up our light screen as Frostmoth opts to Tailwind again. We can use Growth and tank a Bug Buzz. We protect to diminish the Tailwind timer and tank another Bug Buzz down to only 34 HP, but KO Frostmoth for the first time with Giga Drain. Out next is Beartic. And with no idea what to do now, we continue our Giga Drain train, and it's enough to one-shot. Following that, we face a Titan who looks like he'd be really bulky, but with our nice little terastallization I apparently forgot about in our Frostmoth and Beartic fight, we again OHKO. Bringing up the rear is one of my personal pain points for Generation 3 when known as Altaria was a terror. Let's hope it doesn't wall us here, as it would double resist grass naturally, but when it gets terastallized, it doesn't resist us at all. We dodge a Hurricane, land our Giga Drain, and down the final Pokemon, defeating Grusha. It took probably 5 hours of battling, grinding, and sobbing just to get past Frostmoth, but once that Giga Drain chain train left the station, there was no stopping it. After some parting words and the TMs for Ice Spinner bequeathed unto us, thank God, it's now time for us to part ways with Grusha, the last of the gym leaders. But don't you worry, we're not done with exposition quite yet. We meet up with Geeta and the Problem Child in the gym lobby. We're informed that it's time in our quest for Victory Road to take on the League, and are shown where to go, with a picture because maps are hard. But that's going to be put on the back burner just now. We have some ne'er-do-wells to round up, starting with Atticus, the poison person of interest, who shares a name with my real-life big ginger cat, who I am pretty sure would give us a better show of force than this battle was. Atticus sends out Stun Tank, which, thanks to being over 50 levels lower, gets knocked out before I can finish this sentence via Earth Power. Oopsie. Out next is Muck, and the same thing occurs. Third up is a regular Revavroom, kinda tacky, and with its 4x weakness, it gets OHKO'd even harder than the others. And last, and technically not least, Cooler Revavroom comes out, which also isn't much of a match for a level 80 Sunkern. Go figure. This would have been a way different battle if I took him on at the appropriate level. Okay, Atticus, time for your flashback and totally important backstory. Whoa, pretty boy face revealed. And in truth, I am not 100% sure what was just discussed, having been lost in Atticus's luscious locks, but I am sure it was relevant to my immediate future and completing this Sunkern challenge. Now that we've hashed out all of the sick details and plot, it's time we start moseying on. Just kidding, Johnny Cool Guy and someone's kid shows up. And I just do not care. We're skipping straight to the next guy. This certified short king has a penchant for flair, flowers, and fairy types alike. Meet Ortega, the half-pint powerhouse in pink. Ortega's first Pokemon is the fairy water type Azumarill. I thought I'd be a wise guy and use Sunkern. We set up a light screen and Azumarill bounces. Alright. Not really knowing what kind of damage Bounce can do, we terastallize and ready a Giga Drain, but miss our next attack as it's bouncing. Bounce halves our HP, not going to make that mistake twice. Our Giga Drain outspeeds and one-shots Azumarill, healing me almost to full. Out comes Wigglytuff, who I kinda forgot existed in this generation. A Giga Drain is enough to red bar it, Play Rough does minimal damage to us, and we finish it off with one more Giga Drain. Up next is the first shiny Pokemon I ever caught in Scarlet and Violet, Doxpan. A solid special defender, but with a 4th chained Giga Drain and 30 levels lower, it goes down quickly. And now it's time for the car fight. Hot Pink Revavroom makes its way to the stage. I think I'll go for Giga Drain this time. Yeah, it does massive damage but doesn't one-shot. Car counters with Mystical Torque, and I don't even know what that does. I also don't need to. One more Giga Drain makes all my problems go away. So long, Ortega. It's flashback time. Oh no, I totally forgot to put the footage in for the flashback part. I'm so sorry, guys. I know you were looking forward to that. Guess we'll just have to move on without it. Oh, bummer. Anyway, we get our fairy badge and can go meet up with Aerie. And yep, she slaughtered me a lot. We'll be back for her, but not quite yet. Can I pet that dog? Hey, Arvin. But Bostiff is looking better than ever, and Arvin is ready to battle. Against us for a change. The Titan quest culminates in a one-on-one with this degenerate and his squirrel. We send out Sunkern and Terastalize immediately. I remember this fight being kind of tough when I played through this game like a normal person, so this ought to be a breeze. Sunkern KOs Greedent in just 2 Giga Drains, and we're looking pretty damn capable right about now. Arvin sends out Scovillain, and we swap our tactics to Earth Power, since Giga Drain is double resisted, and oh! Sunkern 1 gets roasted, but that's okay. We didn't need Terastalization. Sunkern 2 comes out now and readies an Earth Power for oh! Arvin makes me change my entire strategy. We'll see how that plays out, but for now, let's try our hand at the Elite Four. We meet Gita outside and head in to get 20 questioned by Rika, who sits behind a desk twice her size. When I played this casually, I failed some of these questions because I just couldn't remember town names and gym leaders, but weirdly enough, when you're forced to fight Grusha 20 times in a row, you remember his freaking shoe size. Thanks, Sunkern. I failed the personality quiz but passed the other exam, and we're allowed in. Our first opponent is Miss Questionnaire herself, Rika the Earth Warrior. With her Whiscash out first, we're going to go ahead and start off Terastalizing. And, yeah, we're going to go ahead and use the 4x effective move, Giga Drain. That's probably pretty good. Wow, did that one-shot? That's wild. Camerupt is out next, and we're a little worried about this one. We just do neutral damage, and he's got some... Oh, crit probably mattered. Neat. In comes Donphan, and you know what I could go for right now? A one-shot. Got any of them lying around? Okay, thanks. What? Oh, he endured it. I just had to talk smack. The Pokemon gods were watching me, and we get poisoned. But we finish off Donphan with one more Giga Drain, and we're looking kinda low there. You okay, buddy? Out comes Dugtrio, and I believe there is roughly a snowball's chance in hell we outspeed this. Well, yeah, but that's an increased priority move anyways. Okay, Sunkern 1 falls partly due to my hubris. Sunkern 2, you're up. Please don't make me look bad. I knew it. We in fact do get outsped, but we Giga Drain it down in another OHKO. Now what we've all been waiting for. Last but certainly not least is Rika's ace. The one, the only, Mudbuddy Clodsire. She's going to Terastalize it into the mono ground type and pulls a Sunkern and uses Protect. Neat. Well, we'll launch a Giga Drain after that, outspeed his chunky little butt, and do about half. Not bad. The Sandstorm is going to continue to do chip damage until it subsides, and an Earthquake from Clodsire does surprisingly little. Another Protect from Clodsire only prolongs the inevitable and will follow up with another Giga Drain afterwards, leaving Clodsire in the red zone. A Toxic? Okay, I can see a cool strategy forming from this Clodsire. Toxic, Protect, Earthquake, Protect, and the Sandstorm from Dugtrio. Okay. I don't give it time to work. We take it down with our final Giga Drain, besting Rika. One down. With golf claps all around, we've made it to round 2, and it's a literal child like straight from daycare, Poppy. What have you got for us, Pipsqueak? Bring Your Kid to Work Day starts with Copper. It's bulky and slow, and in my mind, the perfect thing to set up on. We start with Growth as it lays Stealth Rocks. Lol, nerd, that's not gonna hurt me. We Growth again and receive a proper, you what mate, in the form of Heavy Slam. Ouch. However, a single Earth Power after 2 Growths is enough to OHKO. Out next is a whole-ass problem, played for you today by Corviknight, and yep, that's how I thought that'd go. Sunkern 1 falls to a super effective Murder Bird, and out comes Sunkern 2, who takes residual disrespect damage from the late Copper. Corviknight, the ever all-American, casts Gun one more time, and Sunkern 2 eats it like a champion. And so far, the bird has hurt itself more than I have. A pitiful Giga Drain later, and one more double tap, and Sunkern 2 is also going night-night. So Poppy is going to be a roadblock, and we're running out of things to circle back to. I better go find a shiny Go-Goat. Oh, hey, there's one. And there it goes. So, just what the heck am I going to do? Arven stops, Airy crushes, and Corviknight has a 360 no-scope montage saved to his clips that he originally had music to, but got copyright struck because of the sick Breaking Benjamin he was jamming to. Well, let's get back to Airy, I guess. She's the last Team Star leader, and technically Arven and Nemona's quest are equally semi-completed. We're just jumping in at 91, and I guess this is technically the first battle I have shown of Airy. Trust me when I say, there were a lot, and they all ended with me getting my teeth reset. Toxicroak poisons out of the gate, and we send an almost good enough Earth Power to Red Bar. Sunkern 1 falls to Poison Jet. Is this the right clip? Alright, out comes Sunkern 2 and... Oh, I see. Yes, this is the right clip. We eat a Poison Jab and finish off Toxicroak with a cheeky Giga Drain. Second up is the Ghost Fighting type Annihilate, and a closed combat almost takes us out. But we one-shot and heal most of our health back with Giga Drain thanks to the Spadef drop. Passimian out next is also going to be a one-shot, and we outspeed. Look at us go. That sets us back to full health for the one that has ended so many attempts thus far, Lucario. Versono Incarnate outspeeds with Aura Sphere and then tanks a Giga Drain, but it does do massive damage for being not very effective. Healing most of what Lucario could do to us, we eat another Aura Sphere and land a last Giga Drain, knocking out Lucario. Last up is that Sweet Whip, which I have never faced with Sunkern and have no idea what it is capable of. It outspeeds and shifts gears, making it outspeed us even better. We Giga Drain for massive damage to that big ol' HP bar, and it outspeeds and shifts gears again. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'll take it, I guess. I'm sure it could have used Honk or Door Slam or something, but yeah, no, Airy down, and we're making progress again. And guys, you'll never believe this, but the flashback, unfortunately, it's here. I mean, of course it is. I love it, and you love it, and it was only like 10 seconds long, so I didn't hurt my soul too much to narrate it. Airy hands us the final Team Star badge, and we've reached the boss fight portion of every questline in Pokemon Scarlet, which is way farther than I thought I'd get. So, let's try our hand at Director Clavel, aka Cassiopeia. Ooh, spoilers. Undercover Granddad starts with berating cashiers at the supermarket and Oranguru. And maybe we just start with a Giga Drain train early on. We do just that, and it did nothing since Oranguru has kinda really good special defense. It fittingly yawns at us, we swing another Giga Drain and tank a foul play pretty well. We don't wake up, and Dream Eater hurts a lot, removing a lot of progress we just made. We sleep through another severe beating, getting our dreams, eated it again, healing Oranguru to full and giving Sunkern 1 the big sleep. Sunkern 2 comes out, and we outspeed, hitting with Giga Drain. As a parting gift, the Sapient Simian yawns before finally succumbing to our omnipotent seed-like might. Whatever comes out next cannot possibly be worse than that guy. Oh! Worse than that guy comes out as it starts to snow, and we fall asleep. It sets up an Aura Veil, definitely needed, and follows up with a Blizzard, which Sunkern shrugs off with absolutely no problem. It wakes up in time just to give a middle finger in the form of a Giga Drain before falling to another Blizzard. My Sunkern may be weak, but he's got guts. Not like the ability or anything, because that would make him suck less, but emotional guts. We lose to Uncle Granddad Pappy Pap quite a few more times before we move back to Arven, and, that is also not going well. Arven is still, yeah. And this goes on for a while. We've tried. Dozens of times. We always lose, and usually we're blasted by Scovillain. Where do we go now? At this point, I'm out of levels. We're level 100. We've hyper-trained. We've taken all of our vitamins and are even using mints to wiggle our stats around where needed to take on each challenge we're facing. We've given Sunkern everything but a gun. Well, let's give Sunkern a gun. A friendship gun. A gun in the form of friendship. How do we do that? Well, around 30 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, of course. And no, I'm not a lunatic. Not for this, anyway. Let's max out our friendship, which was something I wanted to try to avoid doing, but here we are. With all of this maxed, we gain significant bonuses in battle, the ability to survive on 1 HP, shrug off stat changes, and statuses like sleep and poison, and land crits more often. With our new bestie status unlocked, let's jump back into Arven. 25 battles and 30 PB&Js later, we know Greedent is out first. We outspeed and set up growth, we eat a body slam and have also swapped to Metronome for leftovers. Our general strategy for this part is to growth, lefties heal, protect, lefties heal, growth, repeat. It takes a crazy amount of setup, but is wildly more effective than what we previously did. But I'll be speeding it up nonetheless. Whilst Friendship protects me from status conditions, specifically paralysis, we wind down the growths, eventually reaching +6 in special attack. We set up a light screen and launch a massively boosted Giga Drain, one-shotting Greedent and healing whatever health I did not have. Out next is the reason for the light screen and why my ibuprofen is running out, Scovillain. It outspeeds, and Shocker goes for Fire Blast, dealing well over half my health without a crit, and even though double resisted, Giga Drain one-shots. Up and out third is Toad's Cruel, and due to having so many legs, outspeeds our no-leg boy with Sludge Bomb, poisoning me. Rude. We one-shot Toad's Cruel as well, and Sunkern even shrugs off the poison because he knows what'll happen otherwise. Out fourthly is Garganical, which unless he's got a cheeky sturdy, is bound to be fully absorbed with Giga Drain. Our first light screen wears off just as Cloyster comes out. We outspeed and set up another light screen which allows us to survive Icicle Spear that happens to hit 5 times because of course it does. And we outspeed, once again, one-shotting Cloyster with Giga Drain. Probably could have done that initially, but that's okay. Finally, he's not last, he's the grand finale. Mabasta, fully healed and ready to go, comes out and immediately gets terastallized into the Super Dark type. Mabostov is faster and strikes first with Fire Fang, a super effective physical move. We follow with a Giga Drain, unstoppable at +6 special attack, and end Mabostov in one shot. This is all of Arven's quest line, but not the last time we'll see him. He departs saying, "Now do the other 2 quests, lol." Thanks, buddy. With our next goal in mind, Arven sprints away into the darkness, officially ending the Path of Legends. Now let's take our recently acquired friend-making ability back to Granddad at the Gate, and just like with Arven, we're going to choose to set up against the first Pokemon, Oranguru, as everything else is just plain old too scary. We manage only to get to about +3 or +4, because I can't really tell at this speed, due to Oranguru being such a little troll. We finish it off with one more light screen to buffer our next Pokemon, and following up with a Giga Drain, healing us back to full just before we fall asleep. Now snugly tucked in, Sunkern is a fish inside a birdcage with nowhere to go and living on borrowed time. Obama Snow comes out and we usually get a free turn before it attacks as it sets up. We can terastallize in preparation for us waking up, but it doesn't happen this turn, and there's that Aura Veil we knew to expect. No damage, but it nullifies a lot of ours. Obama Snow is not impressed by its captive audience and swings a Blizzard just as Light Screen wears off, causing massive damage. We wake up just in time to protect, avoiding an Ice Shard and gaining a little bit back in the process with lefties. We now get outsped, but due to our epic friendship stats, tank an Ice Shard to the face at 1 HP. Our Giga Drain deals just under half, but we can protect against another attack to heal a little bit more back in the off turn. We save ourselves from a Blizzard, the snow stops, the Aura Veil lifts, just in time for Obama Snow to feel Sunkern's rage as a second Giga Drain outspeeds and KOs. But we're not out of the woods quite yet. Out next is Houndoom, Fire and Dark, and a guarantee that this thing has Fire Blast, because everything has Fire Blast. We protect to give myself a little bit more HP and see, yep, there it is. We get outsped, but we got that Wiggling Fever, allowing Sunkern to dodge what would surely be an OHKO and set up our light screen. Fire Blast hits, but doesn't KO. But we do, and heal a good chunk of what was just done to us. That's number 3, down and out. Fourth up is the adorably named Poltegeist, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a threat. Wait, does it know Fire Blast? We outspeed, so I guess we'll never know. Just one Giga Drain, and yep, it goes down, putting us back to full health. In comes number 5 in the form of Amoonguss, and again, very unsure this thing can really do all that much to me. I'll use this opportunity to set up a cheeky growth, and we eat a Toxic. That could be bad if I let it get bad. We Giga Drain, which is double resisted, but still doing just over half. Amoonguss uses Hex, and I can see how this could go south for us really quickly. Light Screen wears off, but we're going to go ahead and Giga Drain before it can do anything too crazy. Amoonguss falls, and out last is the little guy that we didn't pick at the beginning of the game, all grown up and now Granddad's ace, Quaquaval, who will immediately be terastallized into the water type. Quaquaval is going to use his ice move that you're darn tootin' he's got. We tank that just fine and follow with our Giga Drain, one-shotting the fabulous waterfowl in the process, finally teaching this old man a lesson. Upon defeat, Director Clavel, aka Clyde, aka Cassiopeia, reveals to us that he is actually, aka a sneaky old man with creaky knees who likes to lie to us. He's not, in fact, aka Cassiopeia. What a twist. After dropping these truth bombs, Rhyme's sister Time, who also works here, guess I forgot about that, readies her hands for her own old man mollywhopping. And we can go find the real, aka Cassiopeia. And you may be surprised to hear this, but the true identity of Cassiopeia is actually Ezio from the hit 2009 video game Assassin's Creed 2. Oh, it's Penny! Yeah, it's totally Penny. Hey, alright. We are getting lied to left and right today, but that's what friends are for, right? Penny, aka Penelope the Deceiver, has a full team of evolutions, starting with the one best for us to set up on, Umbreon. Thanks, Penny. We'll set up a light screen and start using growth. It can hit us with baby doll eyes, lowering our attack, which we don't care about, and use Dark Pulse, which is almost out-healed by leftovers alone. At +6, we can start one-shotting, and we do one-shot everything. As a final act of preparation, we'll set up our light screen for 5 turns, and use those 5 turns accordingly to wreak havoc. We terrastalize and prepare the Carnage Train. Giga Drain 1 and Umbreon falls. We're fully healed and Flareon is out next. And it doesn't outspeed, resisting my moves, but meets the same fate to Giga Drain 2. Leafeon does outspeed with X-Scissor, but unless it one-shots, this Sunkern ain't stopping. Giga Drain 3, Leafeon down. Vaporeon's only chance is to outspeed with an Ice move. Neither happens, but it manages to waste a power point, I guess. 4 Giga Drains, 4 down. Jolteon is out and will absolutely outspeed. With Thunder as its best move that we also resist, he's out too to Giga Drain 5. Last up is Penelope's ace, Sylveon, the Fairy type. Penny will terrastalize Sylveon, only delaying the inevitable by a few frames, but ultimately there's nothing on her team that could resist our maxed out Sunkern and Giga Drain 6. Maybe don't lie to your friends, Penelope. Blocked. After almost literally waxing the floor with Penny and her quote-unquote team, a final Team Star flashback plays. We learn that bullying in the academy was the reason Team Star formed in the first place, that Penny wanted to remain behind the curtain, and that they weren't so much the bad guys after all. DJ Dentures has some stern words, but lets the team effectively rebrand and continue, skating right past the bad PR and into the sunset. With the conclusion of such a heartfelt moment, we're informed that there's one more person's quest we still need to complete. I know, buddy, I know. Starfall Street complete. Now, back to the Elite Four, and honestly, jumping right back into Poppy. Rika was never going to be an issue, especially at level 100. Poppy, as always, begins with Camparaja, who we've learned is not an ideal Pokemon to set up on, but we'll work with what we've got. We'll start with growth and immediately take a heavy slam, nearly cutting our HP in half. Lefty's heals, and we protect to get another turn of free healing, but Camparaja goes for Stealth Rocks anyway, kindly wasting our protect. With a now larger HP pool, we'll set up growth number 2 and take another heavy slam, sending us straight to the red zone. We'll protect again here, allowing us to heal more and tank another slam. With too little health to risk another growth and with little other choice, it's now time for us to terrastalize and go on the offensive. We do just that, and our Giga Drain deals massive damage and heals us nicely, but Camparaja takes that personally and slams us one more time. We'll rock just one more protect, opting to squeeze every tiny drop of health back before continuing on, and finally allowing Camparaja to succumb to one more Giga Drain. With Camparaja, aka the easy one, defeated, it's now time to face the showstopper himself, America's first Sona, Feather Sona even, Gunbird. Immediately we can go for Protect to stop us from instantly dying to Brave Bird, but now what? I guess we just Giga Drain as Protect won't likely work twice in a row. We do okay damage and heal a bit back. Brave Bird actually misses because we're never punished. We Protect again, now almost back to full HP. Giga Drain strikes again, further damaging Corviknight and setting us back to full health just in time to eat a Brave Bird, knocking us around but also red barring itself in the process. For whatever reason, the AI doesn't care to use potions in this game, so we can set up another turn protecting and follow up, outspeeding with one final Giga Drain, and that's 2 down. We are now in unknown territory, and up next is Magnezone. Electric and steel types, we would resist one of those, and whenever I don't know what's going on, I use Growth. Magnezone sets up a light screen, clearly fearing for its safety. What a wimp. We set up a light screen like a badass and tank a flash cannon. With enough HP, we can set up our 4th growth total and eat another flash cannon. From this point, we can rinse and repeat a bit about what we did with Copper Raja. However, our reserves of Protect are running low, so we'll need to conserve that if possible. Never have I ever been a man who wouldn't Giga Drain, so let's do that just now to grab a chunk of HP back as well as do some solid damage. Just slightly over half by my calculations. Deciding to ignore my previous advice, I use one of my last few protects, deciding instead to garner as much health as possible for the next few turns, dodging a flash cannon in the process. Next, setting up my second even more badass light screen, eating another cannon. We send yet another protect, fully exhausting my supply, and finally following up with growth number 5. And I think 5 is all I can expect to get in this fight. Readying a second Giga Drain, we outspeed and outmatch Magnezone, and it only took 15 turns of setting up. Next up and out is Bronzong, one of my favorite Pokemon, and its utility and skill ceiling really show in this fight. We fire a Giga Drain, one-shotting it. Sorry Bronzong, Sunkern really needs a nerf in Generation 10. Our last is Poppy's ace, Tinkaton. Fairy and Steel type, I know nothing about this Pokemon because frankly, I never thought I'd make it this far. Poppy will terrastalize immediately as we ready our Giga Drain, and Tinkaton goes for its signature move, Gigaton Hammer. A very inopportune time to be on the receiving end of a critical hit, but here we are. We managed to live it based on skill alone and follow up with our own Giga Drain, healing a ton back, but one more hammer and we're toast. Good thing the AI is programmed for mercy or stupidity, unsure which, but a play rough does minimal damage and we defeat Tinkaton and Poppy with one final Giga Drain. But in the throes of her defeat, Poppy decides to call upon the literal devil himself, Larry. Yes, that Larry. Larry is back and sharp-dressed as ever, and guess what? Remember his Staraptor? Well, Larry has been promoted and can now afford to make flying his entire personality. I mean, just look at his cute little devil tie. Larry starts out with a wonderful setup Pokemon, Tropius. I hear you, but Lax, why does Tropius such a good Pokemon for you? That's exactly how you sound. Well, the first reason is Tropius has pretty bad special attack and only has special attacks, which means Light Screen will be very effective here. Reason number 2 is Tropius has Solar Beam, and even though he doesn't want to use it since we're a grass type, it wants to set up for it and be ready with Sunny Day. Sunny Day has a few other uses as well. It activates Sunkern's Chlorophyll ability, which, when we last used it, way back with Mila's Torkoal, we never noticed a difference, since Torkoal is so slow to begin with, but our speed then, like it is now, gets doubled. That will be very important for this battle. Another little cute side effect of Sunny Day was introduced in Generation 5. Growth will now raise attack and special attack by 2 stages instead of just 1. So we can set up in half the time and tank half the damage we'd normally have to take from Tropius. Larry just handed Sunkern a gun and dared us to use it. And as I have stated so many times before, if life gives Sunkern a lemon, we're gonna shoot. We protect a second time in a row intentionally to allow my light screen to fade so we can set up a new one for the next turn, and Tropius can reuse Sunny Day since he likes to do so every time it fades. This will allow us to carry our doubled speed into the rest of the fight. Tropius falls to Sunkern, who has now gone even further beyond, and Larry sends out Murderbird 1.0, the OG Nightmare, Staraptor. We outspeed and finish it off with just one Giga Drain, and that feels pretty good. Our next is another Nightmare, but from a different game and a different time, Altaria. We also outspeed and deal massive damage. It gets off a flamethrower, which thanks to Light Screen doesn't do very much, and we finish it off with our second Giga Drain. That's 3 down, only 2 to go, but I don't want to count my birds before they're hatched. Oricorio is up next, and it outspeeds us as the sunlight bequeathed unto us from Tropius finally fades. It confuses us with Teeter Dance, but we manage to push through and one-shot. Only 1 left to go, and up next is Larry's new ace, So Long Staraptor. Hello, Flamigo, a fighting flying Pokemon that he'll terrastalize into the flying type immediately. It outspeeds us and goes for Brave Bird. It misses from Friendship, coming in clutch, and we push through the confusion to land one final Giga Drain on Larry's team. And guys, I knew it would come to this. I even said it would in the intro to the first video I did, and yet I still feel the need to apologize. Larry's second defeat marks the end of Sunkern's itemless streak. I never imagined it would be Hassel of all people to put an end to this. I'll let a few of the battles of the many attempts play out while I explain some things. Hassel starts his battle with Noivern, and I guess I slept on Noivern for a while. I'd never viewed this thing as much of a threat. To me, it just looked like another Golbat, and that was a big mistake. Noivern is fast, really fast, as in it outspeeds my Sunkern even with Sunny Day out kind of fast. It has a base speed stat of 123, but that's not all. It also has really good special attack of 97, so it will oftentimes just outspeed and if not outright one-shot, deal debilitating damage with its stab air slash, which, should I survive, also has a chance to flinch, making me lose anyway. And finally, its ability Infiltrator. Infiltrator allows attacks by Noivern to completely ignore most barrier-style moves, including Light Screen. So, I can't even set up anymore. Noivern and Hassel are also the reason I decided to save in between Elite Four members, because originally, I wasn't going to. Not level 100, not Hyper Training, not Eevee Training, not Spadef Mints, not even Friendship would allow me to bypass this thing. It is theoretically possible that that last thing would work. I mean, the odds are long, really long, on that one being viable. So without further ado, what did we do against this thing? Well, drugs. Lots of drugs. The special defense kind, just to give Sunkern a tanking chance against this behemoth. We take exactly 3x special defense, pushing our special defense to +6 and start setting up growths in earnest. And this back and forth setting up took forever. Just look how fast it sped up. Worse than when we set up on Arven. 6 growths took something like 15 turns to complete, sprinkling in a few protects and worthless light screens. But at the time, I was unaware of how useless they really were. Eventually, reaching +6 in special attack, we fire off our second Giga Drain, and this thing finally goes down, for the first time in like 30 attempts. Out next is Dragalge, a poison dragon type. We actually outspeed and deal well over half, but take a Sludge Bomb, and thankfully that useless light screen ain't so useless against this Pokemon. We follow up with one more Giga Drain to KO Dragalge. And just in time too, that light screen just wore off. Third up is Flapple. Flapple is adorable and not a threat at all. We one-shot regardless of Expedefs. Now, on to number 4, Haxorus. Just a regular mono dragon type here. It outspeeds and lands a Dragon Claw, just a boring 80 power dragon move. No bells, no whistles. We eat it and one-shot with Giga Drain. Last up for Hassel is his ace, Baxcalibur, the Ice Dragon type. Get it? Excalibur? In his back? Pretty cool. Hassel will terrastalize immediately, making this dragon the Dragon, and it outspeeds with Icicle Crash, which thankfully doesn't crit because, wow. We also managed to dodge the flinch and follow up with a Giga Drain, ending Hassel's fight, albeit with some help from, shall we say, controlled substances? Wink wink. Don't arrest me, please. And with these 4 trainers out of the way, now either consoling Hassel or otherwise, our pre-test is complete, and according to Rika, we pass. Now onto the real exam. We are now able to make our way to the top side and take on La Primera herself, Geeta. Now, Geeta is a bit of an odd one. When Scarlet and Violet first came out, I remember her team being kind of a meme. A lot of folks were really underwhelmed by the champion fight, but when your only means of defending yourself is Sunkern, her team is pretty effective, yeah. Let's see how this goes. Up first is a Psychic type Espathra, and it has its signature move Lumina Crash, which always lowers special defense by 2 stages. That is a huge problem. It's also got Opportunist, which gift wraps all of my positive stat changes and gives it to this thing. Guess it won't be a great idea to set up here and now. I learned this too little too late, and Sunkern 1 is felled by its own stat increases. Sunkern 2 comes out, and we immediately terrastalize, opting to take this thing out ASAP. Of course, we get outsped, and Espathra starts to whittle down this Sunkern's defenses as well. A Giga Drain does do a huge chunk of damage and heals back what we just took, but we are destined to repeatedly take greater and greater damage with each successful Lumina Crash. One more Giga Drain ends this thing finally, and out comes Veluza, another super speedy boy. Thankfully, its only super effective move is a physical one. We tank an Ice Fang and use Veluza to recover most of our health. 2 down and out comes Avalugg. Not quite as speedy and super low special defense, we one-shot and manage to heal all the rest of our missing health. Out fourth is Dark Steel type Pokemon whose ability behooves it to arrive later in battle. King Gambit, and with every teammate it witnesses fall, it gains more and more power. Fortunately, it isn't her ace because Terra, the last Pokemon, and that ability, let's not. Very fortunately, our metronomed Giga Drain makes reasonably short work of this thing, and we're moving on. Not far though. Pokemon 5 is Go-Goat, underwhelming in terms of a champion's roster and an absolute wall for Sunkern. This Go-Goat, like the shiny one we found earlier, has Sap Sipper. No grass attacks work on it. So, our momentum, like my Sunkern, goes straight out the window. Not bad though, right? First try, Pokemon 5? The issue that I've been running into with Geeta is not that she's overpowered, it's that she's balanced, and damn near every one of her Pokemon has a counter to Sunkern. Lumina Crash Opportunist to Spathra. Ice Fang on Veluza can freeze or chain flinch, and it outspeeds. Go-Goat walling totally. Even Avalugg got me with a 240 power Avalanche, I think 4 times? Shockingly, the one I was most afraid of, King Gambit, was by far the friendliest, only KOing me twice. And then there was her ace. But I am getting way ahead of myself. One more time for the people in the back, Geeta. Geeta starts with that damn bird again, and we're going to go ahead and immediately terastalize. And of course, we get outsped, and it goes for Reflect? Okay, that's unusual. Our Giga Drain is going to be a 2-shot from the looks of it, and Espathra hits us with a Lumina Crash on the follow-up turn. Our second Giga Drain KOs, healing for a small amount. Veluza's out next, and what'll it be? Freeze? Flinch? Dodge? Hell yeah, we take those. We drink all of Veluza and heal ourselves back to full for Avalugg. Terastalized and 4th chained Giga Drain should be enough to KO Avalugg in one hit, and if we weren't already full HP, we sure would be after that. King Gambit is up next, and the fight with this guy always goes the same way. Attack 3 times and pray it doesn't get a crit. That's 1 Giga Drain, there's 2 Giga Drains, and now you guessed it, 3 Giga Drains. What skilled narration. And with no crit in sight, we can now make our way to the wall itself, Go-Goat. Don't freak out, but we're actually going to break our terastalization and our metronome chain to swap to our benched Sunkern. No, Lax, you're throwing! Our strategy now is Terra Blast, which starts off normal but will change typing to whatever your Terra is. A couple of these cheeky blasts, a prophylactic in the form of Light Screen, and one final Terra Blast, and Go-Goat is also no more. And now we're going to talk about Glimmora, Geeta's ace, a rock poison type that Geeta will terastalize into the rock type. I'm in the clear, right? Grass scissors beats paper rock or whatever. Yeah, no, Glimmora is fast, but moreover it's really toxic. Vitriolic even. Other synonyms too, and Sludge Wave just did that much damage through a Light Screen. Glimmora was single-handedly responsible for over half of my team wipes. Without a prefaced Light Screen against Go-Goat, we just lose. But not this time. We survived 2 in a row and finished this fight against Champion Geeta. But just before giving Sunkern our congratulations and pats on the back, Geeta is not quite the end of our struggles. There's still 2 major battles and like 5 hours of game left, 3.5 of which are cutscenes, don't you worry. And without too much further ado, we're lastly up against a brand new Nemona V6, and our track record with this Nemona is a bit poor. This is battle 20 or 21, I honestly lost count, and this is also the 6th or 7th utilizing X Defense. You heard that right, even with items this wasn't a guaranteed victory, not by a long shot. We're also going to use X special attacks as well, since we'd growth to +6 anyways, this would just save you and me time. See, I'm looking out for you, viewer, and me, and me. We'll finish off that substance abuse shortly, eventually setting up a Light Screen and finishing off Lycanroc with a Giga Drain. But I'll mention now why it's needed, and it's not needed for 5 of the 6 Pokemon we'll be facing. Most of Nemona's team is kind of a joke when we have time to set up. However, her number 2 Pokemon is the Wall. Unmoving, unwavering, and unpoison type. Goodra. And Goodra is kind of a behemoth. Crazy special defense, good special attack and HP, the ability Sap Sipper, and moves like Ice Beam and Sludge Bomb. I can't do much to this thing, and the damage I can do is all but absorbed. A crit Terra Blast at +6 is still not a one-shot, but it could have been a low roll. After Goodra, we can finally terastalize, and the first time getting past Goodra is the only time that matters. We just sweep everything else with Giga Drain, as we should do at +6. Kind of an interesting fun fact, to me anyways, we have a special defense mint set up for Goodra specifically, and we can set up light screen for special attacks, and the only Pokemon on Nemona's team that uses special attacks at all is Goodra. Every other move is either a status move or physical. If Sunkern got Reflect, I do not believe we would need to resort to items at all. And with Nemona quote-unquote defeated, the crowd is shocked by just how juiced my Sunkern can get and not black out. Go team! When all is said and done and all the hand-touching is over with, we are awarded with our last "You Done Did Good Kid" screen. With this final pre-finale floundering completed, we are now about to move into heavy spoiler territory. I won't be showing any of the following game bits because this game is still technically the newest Pokemon game, and there may well be some folks that haven't beaten it yet. This also has the bonus benefit of me not having to actually narrate an additional 3 hours of gameplay footage. It is, however, impossible to not spoil the final fight if I am indeed going to show you that final fight. You have officially been warned. With that being said, meet Arven's Hot Cave Mom. Arven's Hot Cave Mom, I believe that to be her full and legal name, starts with the worst Pokemon for me to set up on. A Pokemon that is super effective against Sunkern that only uses physical moves. This is regrettably another fight that required items, and again, even with those items, it took over a dozen attempts to get a deep run. I do try to do all of these battles itemless several times before I resort to using items, but the odds were so well stacked against me here that there was just no other way through besides freak friendship luck. I did want to show a few of these Sunkern slaughters, but rest assured there were dozens of losses and hours of footage I needed to sift through before I got a run that actually let me get past this roided up Volcarona. Also of note, having a second Sunkern doesn't even really behoove me at this point in the game. If beeped up out back of the Kmart Sunkern gets KO'd, Sunkern 2 just eats dirt immediately 9 times out of 10. So what does a deep run constitute for this fight? What exactly does it look like? It's legitimately getting all 3 X defense used. That's practically it. If I can do that, most of the time, I have a fighting chance. A Mega Super Turbo deep run would be KOing the Dino Bug. Let's see if we can make that happen. AHCM with an apparent monopoly on Master Ball starts with Slitherwing, and me with my best buddy Sunkern. We'll be sipping on that good X defense 3 times and slide into a few X special attacks as well, protecting between party favors to keep Sunkern's HP as full as possible with our leftovers. I sped this part up by I believe 15 times. It could be 20. This took over 4 minutes in real time of what felt like dumpster diving dressed up as menuing, but thanks to movie magic, you don't have to sit through any of that. After setting up all of that, we finish off Slitherwing with one final Giga Drain. As low as its HP was, I do not believe that crit mattered. Up next is another ancient Pokemon, and in fact all of AC and H's Pokemon are those golden oldies only available in Area 0. Out comes Screamtail, and it's like if Jigglypuff had a little bit of extra rock and roll mixed in. We set up a light screen because we're now in uncharted waters, and it uses Ice Punch, which we tank due to our X defense. A single Giga Drain is all it takes to knock it out. As Screamtail falls, up next is Fluttermane? Pretty sure that's from My Little Pony. No? Oh. A Mischievous with extra long hair, ribbons, hands? Yeah, we outspeed and 1 Giga Drain is all it takes. The next Pokemon out on AC/DC's team is fittingly Sandy Shocks, my favorite design of these new Pokemon. It's just so derpy and strange, and unfortunately, ground type, so this is and was over quickly. Up next, and second to last, is Brute Bonnet, a dual grass and dark type with pretty decent special defense, so it'll resist us pretty well. And yep, even with +6 special attack, it survives our Giga Drain. It fires off one of its own, but I was born in the Giga Drain, molded by it. Also, we were behind a light screen the whole time. We follow up with one more Giga Drain of our own, and it's all down to one final Pokemon. Waning Gibbous? Waxing Crescent? Roaring Moon, that's it. It's now or never. Will we defeat ADHD and her pancake Salamence? Let's find out. It eats its booster energy, boosting its attack by 30%. We Giga Drain, doing some significant damage as it follows with a Dragon Claw. It can't compete with our roided up defense, however, and we sink one more Giga Drain to down this dragon and defeat MILTT, OFCBJ, AFYK, and IYKYK. That was a little anticlimactic, wasn't it? That's my whole issue with having to rely on items to set up. Of course we win eventually. Our journey thus far was rife with challenge, struggle, and self-doubt. These last couple of battles, not so much. I'd love to have kept this a clean run, but that just didn't happen. We're here now, though. We did it, and thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop me a comment, leave me a like, all those things I'm supposed to beg for. With that, I'm out of here. I've got more videos to make, and I've got a lot of ideas cooking. If you've got any suggestions, please feel free to leave me a comment. And have a great day, everyone. And, I'm Lax.